12 left, and we'll see who'll get to the Super Bowl January 31st at Pasadena. Thanks for watching this regular season edition of Primetime. We're on both Saturday and Sunday in the playoff weeks. For Robin and Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thank you. But we are not done. The Buffalo Bills at the Houston Oilers. Good game coming up. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann on the call. Gentlemen.
Chris, thanks very much. There is a playoff atmosphere at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. It's a standing room only crowd of more than 63,000. They've come to see the Buffalo Bills take on the Houston Oilers. 1992 was supposed to be the year the Houston Oilers waltzed into the playoffs and challenged for a Super Bowl title. However, this season has been anything but a Texas two-step, as the playoffs were only secured in the waning moments of Week 15.
Anytime you go into the playoffs on a roll, which that's what we're trying to do, is go into it on a roll, this team has a greater chance than any other team to go to the Super Bowl, and that's our ultimate goal.
The team that's walked the walk in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills. Their road to 2 straight Super Bowls has been paved by the cold and chilly confines of Rich Stadium. It's a road they can travel again with a victory tonight.
That's every team's dreams to play at home throughout the playoffs, so it's very hard to win on the road. And so home field advantage is probably the biggest thing that NFL teams want to accomplish throughout the season.
A great deal rides on the outcome of tonight's game. If Buffalo wins, they win the AFC East. They will clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and they get a week off. And that would mean the wild card game would send Houston to San Diego next week. However, if Buffalo loses next week, they would be in a wild card game themselves. Houston at Rich Stadium against the Bills. Would also mean that Miami would win the AFC East, and Pittsburgh would clinch home field advantage. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. How much does the home field advantage really mean? Well, for the Bills in the last 5 years, they are 35-5 at home. That's the best regular season record in the NFL. Additionally, they are 5-0 in the playoffs. And Joe Theismann, that home field advantage is the road the Bills have taken to the last 2 Super Bowls. They want to do it again.
It is, Mike, but it's not the only reason they want to win. First of all, there's a health factor for their football team. Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett, Kirby Jackson, as well as Steve Tasker are all injured coming into this game. Bruce Smith is the only one who will play. Also, if they can beat Houston here away from home, it'll give them 2 wins over quality playoff teams.
Now, Houston is going to have to take its playoff show on the road. Fortunately for them, they have a winning road record for the first time since 1980. And Jack Pardee said he and his players really want to win this game, even though it means they have to go to Buffalo next week.
It doesn't matter, Mike. The Houston Oilers feel like they can win the Super Bowl, and they realize win or lose, they've got to go through Buffalo. A couple other footnotes on this game. Warren Moon gets a chance to come back after being out 6 weeks. He'd like to play 25 to 30 snaps. Kevin Gilbride, their offensive coordinator, told me he wants to get him in the second quarter. Also, this football team features 2 of the greatest running backs in the game, Thurman Thomas and Lorenzo White. I think the real key is going to be which of the defenses can shut down either one of those running backs.
Jack Pardee has been the coach of the year in every league where he has been the head coach, including the National Football League when he was with the Washington Redskins. And Marv Levy has led this club to 4 consecutive AFC East titles, with a pair of conference championships and 2 Super Bowl appearances. Houston wins the toss here at the Dome. They will receive the opening kickoff. So much riding on this ball game, and one of the more ludicrous aspects of the NFL playoff system was brought up earlier in the week when people were saying, well, maybe Houston ought to lose this ball game. I don't ever remember Ronald Reagan in that movie saying, go out and lose one for the Gipper.
I don't remember ever putting on a uniform and going on a football field wanting to go out and not win a game.
Steve Christie has it teed up at the 35. And that's Pat Coleman, 87, and Spencer Tillman, 32, waiting at the goal line. Standing room only crowd. More than 63,000 here at the Dome. Christie, who was a great acquisition in Plan B from Tampa Bay, puts it in the end zone. Cody Carlson will start at quarterback. He got the club into the playoffs last week with 2 touchdown drives in the last 3 minutes. Lorenzo White, the Oilers' first 1,000-yard rusher since '88, as a reward, voted to his first Pro Bowl. And guard Mike Munchak, a Pro Bowl choice for the 8th time. He's been a starter and is one of the strongest linemen in the game. Little pushing and shoving after the opening kickoff, and emotions running high for both ball clubs, obviously. 2 weeks ago, Kevin Gilbride was in a hospital room in Houston having a cancerous kidney removed. Now he's back on the sideline. It's a wonderful story.
It's a wonderful story. Kevin told me his wife, Debbie, nor his doctor knows that he is going to be on the sideline. Well, surprise, guys, there he is.
They know now. And he said he was going to be smart about it. If he got tired, he was going to take it easy. White slipped the tackle, got it out to about the 24-yard line. Let's take a look at that Buffalo defense. Bruce Smith did not play last week because of cracked ribs. He tied for second in the AFC with 14 quarterback sacks. Darryl Talley, the Bills' leading tackler, on the verge of going over 100 stops for the 4th straight year, a complete linebacker. And in his 2nd year in the league, Henry Jones has been voted as a starter in the Pro Bowl. His 8 interceptions tied for first in the NFL. And there's defensive coordinator Walt Corey, who has to come up with that odd defense to play against the run and shoot. Carlson with time, dumps it to Jeffries, and Jeffries planted in a hurry by rookie Matt Darby.
One key factor in this game, Mike, I really believe is going to be the health of Bruce Smith. Now, you watch him come off the ball. Here he is on the left side against Don Maggs. We usually see Bruce Smith lay into a tackle. That's not the Bruce Smith that we're used to seeing. I think that the injury to his rib really affects him. I mean, it's a gutty effort to go, but he doesn't look like he's totally ready.
What they need, a win tonight more than anything else, to give them that week off and let he and Bennett and Kirby Jackson and Steve Tasker heal. Carlson throws right at the down marker, maybe a little short. Webster Slaughter made the catch. It will depend on the spot.
Webster Slaughter, a great acquisition for him on the outside up against Henry Jones, who's a little out of position. He breaks out clear. Boy, what a great pair of hands. It's just a question of where it's spotted. It was spotted a little bit short, and they're going to have to kick it away.
And the leading punter in the National Football League, Greg Montgomery, comes on to kick to Clifford Hicks. You wonder how Montgomery did not make the Pro Bowl again. A couple of years ago, he led the NFL in punting, but didn't have enough attempts. And Montgomery's going to have to run for his life. Fake, and they get the first down, but there are penalty markers everywhere.
I think you're going to have a few linemen downfield, like the entire team. Special teams coach Richard Smith looking around, wanting to know what happened. What happened? They had a free runner coming in to block it. It was a good decision by Montgomery.
Looked like James Williams was the man who came clear.
Richard very carefully takes his gum out before he yells and then places it back in. He doesn't want to spit it out on the field. After all, it is AstroTurf.
Jerry Markbright conducting the conference at the sideline.
I really believe the only call it can be is a lineman downfield, because whether you throw it underhand or overhand, it's still a forward pass.
And that's exactly what it is.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the forward pass. Number 74, offense.
This is the reason why it happened. Right there, he's going to come in clean. Montgomery does a good job. This is a good decision. There comes the pressure. He didn't feel like he could get out. That's really heads up. And that's really heads up, holding on to the ball. Now, the worst thing that happens, you just kick it again. That's J.D. Williams coming from your right side. I'm sorry, J.D. comes from the left, and then he gets pushed out on the other side.
Boy, you're right. That's such a smart play because they get to kick the football again instead of being caught deep. For Montgomery to kick to Hicks, number 6 in the conference, and he hits a boomer. Hicks all the way back to the 24. Nice return out to the 39-yard line. A return of 15. Take a look at the Buffalo offense. Jim Kelly runs the unit. He'll be going to the Pro Bowl with 23 touchdown passes. The number 4 quarterback rating in the AFC. Thurman Thomas, a Pro Bowl starter, needs only a few yards for career highs in both rushing and receiving. And Howard Ballard will be a starter in his first Pro Bowl appearance at 6'6", 325. He just smothers defensive linemen. The no-huddle offense with Thurman Thomas the setback. He'll get the first carry. And just as he has done all year long, Thurman Thomas bursts it straight up the middle. The Houston defense, Ray Childress, voted to his 4th Pro Bowl this year, has a career-high 11 sacks, also second on the team in tackles. Al Smith over 100 stops for the 3rd straight season and for the 2nd straight year, a Pro Bowl starter. And Jerry Gray has been a big play addition in the secondary. 5 interceptions to lead the club, the most he's had since he was with the Rams in '89. Thomas again. Another good game. Marcus Robertson has to make the stop in Oiler territory.
The Houston Oilers cannot afford to sit in a 4-3 defense or a 4-2 defense with just 2 linebackers and allow the Buffalo Bill offensive linemen to get up and build screens and just let Thurman pick his hole as they go. There's Jim Eddy, the Oilers defensive coordinator, going to have to figure out a way to start filling those gaps with backers and defensive people.
2nd and 3. Kelly calling the play. Thomas, big hole. McDowell got a piece of him, and they'll stop him at the 31-yard line.
There it is, 7 guys on the line. You see it right there, and they still can't stop him. They still get a big hole. That's a great job by Ballard on the right side, number 75.
Thurman Thomas, a career high in rushing yardage, already 3 carries, 30 yards, and Kenneth Davis picks up where he left off, down at the 26-yard line. Al Smith, the middle linebacker, made the tackle. A great changeup to be able to bring Kenneth Davis in off the bench to rest Thurman Thomas. Opening possession of the ball game for the Buffalo Bills. Scoreless first quarter. They face a 2nd and 5 here. 4-man rush. Kelly throws short, intended for Lofton. He was covered by Jerry Gray.
Jim knows he had Lofton on the post. He does a good job of working the safety right and then comes on back to the left side. But it's sort of been typical. Look at his last 5 games, 47%, only 168 yards, and the 8 interceptions really are the telltale problems that he's had.
Not the Jim Kelly numbers we have come to appreciate. Delay to Davis. The Oilers have this one scoped out, and there's a flag down as well. And it will be a hold against the Bills. Marv Levy not used to this situation. Normally, in the last couple of years, he's gotten to the final game. He's rested his starters. Now he's got to go all out with everybody trying to win the AFC East after Miami pulled it out today.
And they really need to win because they need to rest those hurt people.
Holding, number 51, offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
That's Jim Richard, the 13-year veteran left guard. Now with the ball spotted at the 22. And 4th and 1, they'll go for the field goal.
That's a good move, not taking the penalty. You don't want to put the ball back in the hands of Jim Kelly with those receivers with a chance to either get the first down or the touchdown.
This will be a 40-yard attempt for Steve Christie, who has missed one field goal this year under 49 yards. He's had a remarkable season. Frank Reich, the holder, got it down, and Christie knocks it through. So the Bills on the board first with 10:13 to go first period.
If you're looking for a luxury coupe that makes driving fun again, the Eldorado Touring Coupe hits the mark. Because only its advanced North Star system brings together a 295 horsepower V8, road sensing suspension, and traction control standard, making it the car you'll want to drive first and every day thereafter. The Eldorado Touring Coupe with the North Star system, changing the way you think about American automobiles.
This man just woke up in a Residence Inn hotel room. What are his options? He can A, make a cup of fresh coffee in the kitchen. B, walk all the way over to the living room area and start a fire in the fireplace. Or C, shoot some hoops. Okay, let's see what he does. D, none of the above. Residence Inn by Marriott. No other hotel gives you more for less.
To be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Cadillac, changing the way you think about American automobiles. By Residence Inn by Marriott, the extended stay hotel. And by the United States Marine Corps. You have to be tough to compete, but smart to win.
Jim Kelly with his offensive unit on the sideline has Buffalo on the board already, 3-0 on a 40-yard Steve Christie field goal. And Christie to kick it off to Tillman and Coleman. A low line drive kick this time, taken on the hop at the goal line. Coleman across the 20, back to the 28-yard line. Very good-looking scoring drive for the Bills. Did most of it on the ground. And Christie finished it off with a 40-yarder. The drive took only 2 minutes and 41 seconds.
For the Houston Oilers, Chris Palmer, their wide receiver coach, who really did the play calling, has been kicked back upstairs. Like he said, he should have got fired. Kevin Gilbride came back to coordinator. He said, I got fired. Now he's back to just coaching the wide receivers.
And I'm sure delighted for that situation.
He was getting used to it. You know, Kevin, he said the adrenaline's flowing already.
Carlson with time. Now he has to run. And does the hook slide at the 37-yard line. They'll mark it at the 36. Cody Carlson has had marvelous fourth quarters. 9 drives for touchdown. First half, he's had 1.
He's had horrible first half statistics. 1 touchdown drive in 5 games in the first half of football games. I mean, he started real well in relief, and then as he's become a starter the last couple of games, his production has declined.
And he doesn't understand why, neither do the coaches. There are the passes by quarter. Touchdown. White. Jones right up on the line of scrimmage after Bruce Smith got a piece of it. And Henry Jones will spend a lot of time up there, and Smith, of course, always around the ball.
Henry Jones, number 20, he's going to fill. Did an excellent job at strong safety. Just comes on in. That's his job. That's his job, too, is the problem with the run and shoot is you normally spread those safeties out. That time, Webster Slaughter was in fairly close to the tackle. He could make the tackle.
3rd and a yard. White cuts it off the right side. Talley is there to hit him. And they'll mark it right at the sticks. This will be close. Bills' run defense number 2 in the AFC, and Jerry Markbright wants the chains brought in. They have done a much better job stopping the run than they have in the previous couple of years, Joe.
You know what it is, too, is I think a healthy Bruce Smith obviously makes an awful big difference. They moved Cornelius Bennett inside. Coach Swizzlestick, Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator, they moved Cornelius Bennett in. I think that helps stop the inside running game as well.
It is a first down, and there is Bennett on the sideline, who was sidelined this week with an injury. Should be ready next week. But his move inside really has shored up the run defense, with Marv Patton going to the outside linebacker. Carlson with a short drop given into Buffalo territory down to the 48-yard line. And you could see 6 or 7 men near the line of scrimmage.
That's the point I want to make right now, Michael. What you're going to see is what Cody Carlson. Look at all the defenders for the Bills. You only got 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. You've got to throw the football. 7 are what's so-called in the box. You've got to put the ball up. They really don't have Givens covered at all. I mean, I think the Oilers can create problems just by formation for the Bills.
Changing the play. Delay to White. It's the bread and butter of the running game. Down to the 41-yard line goes Lorenzo White, who is the first 1,000-yard rusher for this club since Mike Rozier.
The run and shoot with the 4 receivers spreads out the defense so that Don Maggs has an opportunity to just take Bruce Smith. All he has to do is get in front of him and turn him. See him turn him outside? Lorenzo White cuts up inside, does a good job once he gets inside. Having a great year, obviously, going to the Pro Bowl.
222 pounds, and he cuts like a guy who's 185. 2nd and 2 for the Oilers. Comes the blitz. Carlson got it out to Duncan, and Duncan knocked out of bounds. Duncan, one of 18 Pro Bowlers on these 2 rosters, 9 each. Duncan getting to go for the first time.
Of course, Curtis Duncan catching an awful lot of grief from his fellow wide receivers. Went 108 catches without a touchdown pass. He said finally he could get Ray Childress and William Fuller off his back because they each had one before he got one.
Last 5 years, Buffalo and Houston have dominated the list. Great individual talent. White. Nice cutback. Talley was waiting for him, and then Bruce Smith finished him off at the 33.
Looks like the Houston Oilers have made a decision to run away from this. This is a safety, number 27. What they want to do is if he's on this side, they're going to go over here. If he moves over here, they'll go over there. So they're basically working away from either Henry Jones or Clifford Hicks, whichever one's lined up closest to the ball.
Kevin Gilbride, who believes deeply in the run and shoot offense. Just off the fingertips of Jeffries to the 25-yard line. Nate Odoms was right with him. And except for that throw, Carlson has been very sharp on this drive.
You got to be a little bit careful. You look for the height matchups. Of course, Nate Odoms is only 5'10". Haywood Jeffries at 6'2", so they have a tendency to hang the ball up a little bit higher to him than they do the other receivers.
Needed to be 6'4" on that one. It's one of the problems the Oilers have with this offense is they do not have a true burner at wide receiver to force the defenses deep. They hope to correct that in next year's draft or the free agent market. 3rd and 6. Carlson with time. Jeffries has it, and will have a first down inside the 25-yard line. Ball stolen by Odom, but the whistle is blown.
If Don Maggs continues to do this kind of a job all night on Bruce Smith, there's going to be no pressure on the quarterback. And you see Smith trying to protect his side. My guess is that Bruce Smith is not going to be in this football game for an extended period of time because they just cannot mount any type of a pass rush on Cody Carlson.
Well, you could see on that one there was very little contact, and he just pulled up from the pain. Another first down for the Oilers. Carlson going for it all, and Givens had pulled up on the pattern at the 10-yard line. That's one of the problems with the run and shoot. Everybody's got to read. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
And I came out of a system where I wanted the receivers to do what they were told as opposed to read, because it was easier for me as a quarterback to anticipate. In the run and shoot, you cannot anticipate where a receiver is going to go. That's why I think there's so much pressure on both Cody Carlson, Warren Moon, anybody that plays in this offense. You have to hold the ball a little bit longer, then try and strong-arm it into receivers.
Nice drive for the Oilers, just taking nearly 6 minutes off the first period clock. 2nd and 10 here. And Carlson lost control of that one. Somebody may have hit his arm or his hand as he tried to unload.
This is one of those plays where you wish you had a string on the ball and you could bring it back like a yo-yo. Watch this. He sees downfield. He likes what he sees. He likes what he sees. He doesn't really like it a whole lot now. All he saw was Clifford Hicks run across his vision. That was enough to want him to have him pull it back.
Warren Moon, who we expect to see in this ball game for maybe 25 plays. They want to see how well he has come back from that injury. Houston has specialized in drives over 5 minutes this year. They lead the NFL in those kinds of drives. White, middle screen to the 11-yard line. First down.
Mike, oddly enough, you've got a run and shoot offense, 4 wide receivers, and their best pass play over the course of the year has been the screen play. Hit a big one last week against Cleveland. This one, instead of being outside, it's inside. Great block by Maggs on Talley, and the rest Low White does with his running ability.
Just had a sensational year. One of the league leaders in combined yards. Another first down for the Oilers, and Gerald Talley has left the ball game. We'll check on his injury in a second. White on the draw. Got only a yard that time. Stopped by Mark Pike, who is now on the defensive line.
Walt Corey, Mike, put it as well as anybody. He said, we cannot let them keep our offense off the field. Just can't let them keep on going. He says if they can keep the ball away from us and use it as a clock, use Lorenzo White as a clock killer, he said, we got no chance.
Well, they've almost used 7 minutes off the clock here. We're down to 3 minutes to go first quarter. Smith is out of the lineup. Pike 94 in at his spot. Carlson with time for the end zone. Almost intercepted. Right in the hands of James Williams. And you know why Williams didn't intercept that ball?
Because he dropped it.
He has 5 career interceptions, all against AFC East teams. This is AFC Central.
That'll do it. That's the difference. Cody Carlson trying to look off. He doesn't really get a chance to throw this thing with all the zip he wants. And James Williams has a snowbird right into his arms. It's a poorly thrown ball anyway. And that ball was thrown with all arm, no body, and just hung up there for Williams to snatch out of the air.
This will be the 15th play of the drive. It's already consumed 7.5 minutes. 3rd and 9. Bruce Smith back in the game. Got an early start on that one, and Carlson hit as he throws. There is no flag down, and either Bruce Smith is the quickest player on the face of the earth, or he got away with one.
Woo! I don't know how you have that, because you got the head linesman standing on the side. Watch the left side of your screen, number 78. I mean, if he didn't cross the ball, he was running dead parallel with it. Now, sometimes an end will line up in space, and that'll happen, and it'll look like he's crossing the ball, but he's really coming down the line as opposed to across it.
And you can see the obvious discomfort Bruce Smith is in. And this is Al Del Greco. 76% on the year. Lines up a 27-yarder that would tie it. And does. So Christie and Del Greco have provided the points. We're tied at 3.
So many trucks. So many trucks means so much variety. Right now at your Western New York GMC truck dealer. If you thought GMC trucks were just tough pickups, think again. We've got family vans, sport utility vehicles, and more. Check out the Sierra. So many trucks. The Safari van. So many trucks. The new Sonoma. So many trucks. Jimmy's. So many trucks. And the family-size Suburban. Hurry to your nearby Western New York GMC truck dealer today. With so many trucks, there's so little time.
Here at America's Fitness Warehouse, we know that good health is an American's greatest asset. That's why we believe exercise should be an important part of everyone's daily life. At America's Fitness Warehouse, our fitness consultants will find the right equipment to fit your needs and goals. It might be the Schwinn Airdyne or Skier, or perhaps a bench or gym from Bodysmith by Parabody, the #1 bench manufacturer in the USA. So bring the family on down to America's Fitness Warehouse, where America shops for fitness. You'll be glad you did. I'm Ron Krett, and you have my word on it.
Since 1962, Felber's Builder Supply and Lumber has been serving the area needs for drywall, brick, lumber, wooden gas heatilator fireplaces, and more. The Felber's family is ready to serve your building needs for years to come. Being family owned and operated, you can always be sure to get a quality product at the right price. We can deliver to all areas of Western New York, and upper-level delivery of drywall is available. So if you're thinking building supplies, think of the family that has served your building and lumber needs for the last 30 years. Felber's Builder Supply and Lumber, 5555 Transit Road, Williamsville, just a quarter-mile north of Maple.
Dolphins are AFC East champions. Earlier in the week, Dolphins safety Louis Oliver tried to inspire the Oilers with some gifts.
Dolphins' favorite Christmas carol. Beat the hell out of the Bills.
Is that what it says?
Fa la 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 la. Typical Dolphins, you know, always trying to start something. Can't really take care of their own business. Always got to rely on somebody else to do it the dirty way. We just wanted to give the Oilers some inspiration, and you know, that could be our Christmas gift. If they beat the Bills, you know, I'm liable to send a game check out there.
Lewis, don't give up your day job. Kenneth Davis and Al Edwards are deep, and Del Greco puts it 8 yards deep in the end zone. They'll start from the 20. We've got a timeout on the field. 2:35 to go, first quarter, tied at 3.
Yep, I'm part of the management team now, Mama.
Oh, baby, I'm so proud of you.
It's only afternoons.
But still, it's a promotion.
I gotta get back to work.
Guess what, Anna?
Calvin is the new manager at McDonald's.
Straight up? Cal's been on it at Mickey D's, so they gave him his property.
He owns a McDonald's and just got his property.
For real?
Calvin?
Calvin, they used to hang out on the corner?
So you own McDonald's?
No, not yet.
Until now, some thought imports wrote the book on handling, but change is just around the corner. Introducing the Cadillac Eldorado Touring Coupe with the North Star system. Its advanced road-sensing suspension reads the contours of the road automatically and adjusts instantaneously to put the fun back into driving. The Cadillac Eldorado Touring Coupe with the North Star system, changing the way you think about American automobiles.
Shirts. Beware the man who says, "I'll give you the shirt off my back." Chances are it's not a Dockers shirt, and therefore of no great loss to him, nor of any particular gain to you. Nobody does shirts like Dockers.
ESPN's college football season goes out with flying colors in a bowl week extravaganza. Washington State and Utah kick off the week in the Weiser Lock Copper Bowl. Tuesday night live on ESPN.
Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann with you from the Astrodome. Buffalo and Houston tied at 3. Impressive drive by the Oilers to tie it up. 7 minutes, 32 seconds. They went 62 yards. And it was no touchdown, but it was a field goal, and they needed to score. Ray Childress Left defensive tackle, one of the marvelous athletes in this league. Kelly back to throw, screen to Thomas. And Thomas can't go anywhere. Steve Jackson with a great defensive effort.
And when you take a look at the Buffalo offense, Tom Bresnahan is the offensive line coach and the offensive coordinator. Jim Schaffner is the wide receiver coach. He basically handles the passing attack. And Marv Levy is the guy that basically handles short yardage. So you've got three people doing the job of really one coordinator. It's hard to get everything in sync.
Of course, that was Ted Marchibroda, who went to the Colts and did such a brilliant job. Intended for Beebe, nearly picked off by Dishman. Beebe, the speed threat for this offense, and Dishman had a touchdown in his sights.
Now, Jim Kelly said the matchup he was looking for was Beebe on Dishman. Dishman does a nice job of peeking. He reads the route, peeks back, breaks on the ball very well. That ball's a little bit lower. Jim Kelly's going to have to stop a touchdown by Chris Dishman.
3rd and 12. This one is picked off at the 30-yard line. Jerry Gray makes the pick, his 6th of the year. Same play, almost the same result other side.
Yeah. You know, Mike, what's going to happen is Jerry Gray's going to get the credit for a great interception, but he's got to give an assist to Lee Williams. Jim Kelly, watch him throw this ball. You talk about not stepping in the ball. Watch the left side, Lee Williams. See how Kelly backs up when he throws? That ball has nothing on it. Nothing on it. And Jerry Gray reads the pattern perfectly. He just hangs outside for Reed. And this is a case where I think Kelly tried to force the ball to Andre Reed to get him into the game.
Jerry Gray is a gambler. That time he guessed right and got the pick. Well, I don't know what Cody Carlson thought he was doing on that one.
See, now the way the rules interpret it is if you're... No, Jerry.
Intentional grounding foul.
No.
Number 14.
Doesn't it have to? You have to be under pressure to have an intentional ground.
You have to. The term is you have to try and be avoiding a sack. That's all. He just threw the ball on the ground. He could have thrown that thing into the 6th row. It wouldn't have made any difference.
But if he throws it in the 6th row, they'll never call it.
But Lorenzo White's right in front of him. He's not trying to avoid a sack. He's just throwing the ball away. There isn't anybody near him. I don't agree with that call. Look at Lorenzo. Lorenzo's sitting right there. Right in the middle. And there's the ball. Jerry, that's a bad call.
Yeah, but on the other hand, that pass was obviously not intended.
Second down.
But it doesn't matter. It's a bad interpretation. The interpretation is that you have to be trying to avoid a sack.
That I agree with.
That's no different than trying to ground the ball at the end of the game. That's exactly the same thing that he did.
And Thurman Thomas headed for the locker room. We'll check on him as quickly as we can. It's a loss of down and a 10-yard penalty, so it's 2nd and 20. 4-man rush. Carlson throws complete at the 31-yard line. Got about half of it back to Jeffries.
That's a smart move. You only want to work on getting half of it back. Of course, what defenses have done to the Houston Oilers offense, you're not going to get a lot more than that anyway.
That's right.
They've turned it into a run and shoot, pop gun, nickel and dime offense is what it's basically turned into.
It will be 3rd and 12 as time works its way down in the 1st period. The biggest successes so far tonight, the draws and screens to Lorenzo White. Smith jumped again. Carlson throwing for the end zone. Double coverage. Nate Odom's the closest to it. Jeffries, the intended receiver, and there is a flag down on this one.
Offside. Number 78. Defense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Number 78 got away with one in the last drive, but he's not going to get away this time. You see him start. Now he tries to get back, but he's in the neutral zone. Actually, he's in the other guy's zone, not the neutral zone. He's in the Oilers zone.
The Oilers this year have done very well on 3rd down conversions, 5th best in the league. They've hit 60% tonight. They face a 3rd and 7 in this situation. Duncan, first down at the 13-yard line. James Williams on the coverage, but it's a gain of 14, and Carlson has thrown some good balls.
There was a case where Cody Carlson just set and fired. There was no hesitation. Watch the upper left part of your screen. Curtis Duncan's just going to come flying in. Now, that ball is flying.
Boy, nice grab, too.
Look at him set and fire. I mean, there is no hesitation. It's a nice, tight spiral. Makes the good delivery, steps into the ball.
And Duncan just got his head around in time to be able to see it. Got his hands up, knocked it down, and caught it. Touchdown, Oilers! Leonard Harris with the grab, and a perfect throw by Carlson. Leonard Harris, the forgotten man in this passing offense after they got Webster slaughtered.
He's not forgotten now. This is from the goalpost cam. Watch the right part of your screen. There's nobody in the hole. By that, I mean there's no free safety there to discourage that post pattern. And if they're not there, ain't going to happen.
And a beautiful grab by Leonard Harris. Del Greco for the point after. And they'll have to try this one again. Carlson, 3 for 3, 35 yards on that drive. And you're right, Joe. He really had some juice on him. First time in 5 games that the Oiler offense has produced a touchdown. That's amazing with this offense.
Ball start, number 74, offense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
Bruce Matthews, the Pro Bowl center.
Or anything else he wants to be a Pro Bowl player.
Exactly. He was a Pro
Center,
Bowl guard before.
There you see Kevin Gilbride on the left. Frank Novak, the running back coach, on the right. Coach Swizzle, Walt Corey, trying to figure out, all right, what can I do now to stop this offense?
Del Greco with his 118th straight point after touchdown. The last time he missed, September 17th, 1989.
So many trucks. So many trucks means so much variety. Right now at your Western New York GMC truck dealer. If you thought GMC trucks were just tough pickups, think again. We've got family vans, sport utility vehicles, and more. Check out the Sierra. So many trucks. The Safari van. So many trucks. The new Sonoma. So many trucks. Jimmy's. So many trucks. And the family-size Suburban. Hurry to your nearby Western New York GMC truck dealer today. With so many trucks, there's so little time.
Harold.
You're sitting on the ice, 80 below zero. Don't worry, the Iceman's here. Cold can't penetrate the double-insulated lacrosse Iceman. A half-inch midsole, plus a removable felt liner surrounds your feet. Raging snowstorms, no weather is too extreme for the lacrosse Iceman. Warmth and comfort under the severest conditions. Stop the cold from reaching your feet with the Iceman. The Iceman's great for deer hunting, snowmobiling, or any cold weather activity, and it's made in America.
Available at Johnson's, the country store with more.
Thurman Thomas taken to the locker room. He has bruised ribs. They do not know whether he will return tonight.
And this is how he got him. Steve Jackson coming up, makes the initial play, and Jeff Alm from the left part of your screen, number 76, just plants a helmet on the ribs. And he is added to the list of injured players for Marv Levy.
Bruce Smith is playing with 3 cracked ribs. Kirby Jackson is out. Cornelius Bennett is out. Steve Tasker is out. And if they lose this game, they'll have to play next week. No rest. Del Greco puts it in the end zone again, and Buffalo will have to start from its 20. There's a penalty flag down on the kickoff. Carwell Gardner checking in with Jerry Markbright. Only 4 seconds to go in the first period here in Houston.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist on number 35, receiving team. The penalty is enforced from the 20-yard line back to the 10. First down.
That was Carwell Gardner called for the penalty. As the playoffs heat up, so does our game day in prime time, which shows the next 2 weekends on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, game day starts at 11:30 in the morning, prime time at 7:30, and then on Sunday, noon Eastern for game day, 7:30 for prime time. Hope you'll join us for all of those. Kenneth Davis is the running back behind Kelly. He'll get the call. And that is the end of the first period, but there is another flag down on the play. We'll check that. Davis's best game of the year came against the Falcons, rushed for 181 yards. So you have a quality back if Thomas does come out.
Holding for 67, offense. The first quarter is over. The penalty enforced at the beginning of the second quarter.
The holding call will go on Kent Hall, so they'll back him up again. That's the end of the period.
Until now, some thought imported luxury sedans possessed a higher level of engineering. But change is on the horizon. Introducing the 1993 Cadillac Seville STS with the North Star system. At its heart, a 295 horsepower North Star V8. So advanced, its first scheduled tune-up is 100,000 miles. The Cadillac Seville STS with the North Star system. Changing the way you think about American automobiles.
Something to drink, sir?
Yeah, make it a Bud Light.
Sorry, we just ran out.
Oh. Excuse me. Bud Light?
Try Flight 261 out of L.A.
Oh, thank you.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Do you have a Bud Light?
Yes. Welcome aboard, sir.
Great. Where are we going?
Today was the final chapter in the careers of two of the NFL's all-time greats. Cincinnati offensive tackle Anthony Munoz played 13 seasons for the Bengals and was named to the Pro Bowl 11 times. He leaves with the admiration and respect of those who played with and against him and will go down as one of the game's all-time best. The intimidating eyes of Mike Singletary will intimidate no longer. The 9-time Pro Bowler anchored Chicago's defense for 12 seasons, and his all-out style personified Bear football. Singletary will be remembered as a man of intensity and integrity who loved the game and those who played it. It isn't often that great athletic ability and great personal traits come together. It certainly did in the person of those two men.
It really did. And Mike Singletary is the only man that I've sat down with and interviewed that when I walked out of a meeting 2 years ago, actually had tears in my eyes because I was so impressed by the human being, not just the athlete. To Anthony and to Mike, thanks for helping this game be as great as it is.
Well, thanks for all the memories.
I don't have memories. I have memories of Mike Singletary being about 2 feet away from me, ready to bury me.
You may have had tears in your eyes on that occasion, too. Thurman Thomas coming back to the sideline. We showed you the numbers earlier on Jim Kelly, what he had done the last 5 games. The numbers tonight on Jim Kelly, 1 for 4, -2 yards and an interception.
I really think the place they would miss Thurman Thomas would be in the passing game more than the running game, too.
It's a brilliant receiver. 1st and 15 after the holding call. Kenneth Davis. Spun down at the 9. Marcus Robertson up from his safety spot.
They talk about Marcus Robinson having great range, great support ability.
And he's in there because Bo Orlando, the free safety of last year, injured early, hopes to be back full strength next season. Davis, big hole up the middle. Childress hanging on as he gets to the 16, along with Eddie Robinson, the outside linebacker.
I think one of Ray Childress' greatest assets is his quickness off the ball. There's the ball. You see it snaps. He's off the ball before anybody else on the defensive line. Gets that slicing penetration to try and disrupt the line pulls.
3rd and 4. Lee Williams should get the credit for that last tackle and not Childress. Kelly with time. Throws it into a crowd, complete at the 29-yard line. That'll be a first down. James Lofton caught it in a pack of blue shirts, a gain of 14.
This time they move James Lofton inside and Andre Reed outside. He comes in motion, though. Reed clears. Lofton sits down in the soft hole. Makes a great catch and then takes a big pop from Robertson.
Kelly quickly back to work to Lofton again, driven out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Coming in, needed only 7 catches to pass Charlie Joyner, number 3 all-time in receptions. He's already the all-time yardage leader. They get these plays off so fast, Joe. The defense has no time to relax.
15 seconds. That's the amount of time when the ball is marked ready for play and the Buffalo Bills snap it again. The play clock is inconsequential. They'll want to get it off right around 20.
Davis tripped up by Alm as he crossed the 40-yard line.
Now you can go on a clock. Figure 15 seconds from now, the Buffalo Bills will have another play run. And what it causes problems defensively because you can't substitute personnel. You have to play with what's out on the field. This will get off right around 23-22 again.
12:43 to go first half. Houston leading by a touchdown. Kelly with time, nearly picked off. Steve Jackson had a shot at another one and couldn't come down with it.
Jim Kelly has great confidence in his arm, right side of your screen. He just feels like he can get this in there. Steve Jackson lunges in and knocks it away at the last second.
2nd and 10 from the Buffalo 41. Lofton. Dishman makes the tackle, but not until he's at the 45-yard line for a first down, gain of 13. And Lofton with 3 on this drive.
Jim Eddy said tonight is a night that they want to take some chances on defense. By that means he'll bring safety and linebacker support, but he'll make his corners play one-on-one. There you see Dishman giving Lofton a lot of room, and that's the way it'll be all night. It'll be a challenge between wide receivers and DBs.
Amazing. Lofton's been in the league 15 years. You still have to respect his speed. Davis, another nice hole up the middle down to the 39-yard line. Outstanding offensive line for the Bills. Ballard will be a starter in the Pro Bowl. Will Wolford will be going to the Pro Bowl. Kent Hull's been there 3 times, the center. And Wolford, 6'5", 297. And this is a prototype offensive line. Guys over 280 pounds. And we have an injury. One of the Oilers slow to get up.
Now, if we were inside 2 minutes of the half or 5 minutes, that would be a charged timeout.
Stoppage of play, 11:42 to go in the half. We'll be back to Houston in a moment.
A dragon with horns. It's a blue whale and with wings that's buried in the ocean with no ears. A dog, a snake, a beautiful
The new Isuzu Trooper has been completely redesigned to include a sunroof as large as a child's imagination.
Angels.
You promised
left me something really special for my birthday. A whole weekend in the great outdoors. Without me.
Here's to the great outdoors, men who understand, and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible four-wheel drives, by Wrangler, the most comfortable jeans known to man, and by O'Doul, the official non-alcohol brew of designated drivers.
Sean Jones able to leave the field under his own power, just a little bit shaken. 11:42 to go in the first half. 7-point lead for Houston. We told you Jim Kelly, poor numbers the last 5 games, off to a slow start tonight, but it looks like he may have found his rhythm.
It really looks like. I think that's what I look for in a quarterback, is how soon he gets out of the huddle, gets to the line of scrimmage, and has the ability to step into his throws. The interception we saw that Gray made, he didn't get a chance to step into it. The last couple of throws, he's had a chance to get everything behind the ball.
Good numbers on this drive after a 1 out of 4 start. And all of them to Lofton. Thurman Thomas back in the ball game. And he'll get the carry down to about the 36-yard line. Coming into the game, Thomas only needed 39 yards to catch Emmitt Smith for the yard from scrimmage lead in the NFL. There's Big Doug Smith, who has been out 8 of the last 9 games, bad hamstring. The Oilers hope to have him back for the playoffs, but there is a question. He was stopped for DWI, and it could be his second offense under the NFL's substance abuse policy. The league has not ruled yet, but certainly Big Doug hopes to be back. He really improves that line. Carwell Gardner with his first carry and makes a lot of Oilers move the other way. Marcus Robertson, the first to hit him, and then Robertson got up and kicked him. And somehow the officials didn't see it, but Carwell Gardner sure did.
Carwell Gardner, watch him go right to left. This is real time. Watch the power. Oh, boy, Jerry Gray going to have to think twice about getting in front of that train from now on. There's another look. Look at the left side. Jerry Gray puts his head down. Jerry Gray goes in and comes out just as fast.
And Robertson just got up and gave him a little kick. Lofton with another catch. He must have gone up 10 feet to get that baby.
Wow. That's a wow.
Just a remarkable athlete.
I mean, he's only 2 behind that man, Charlie Joyner, but that's got to rank up with one of the all-time great catches right there.
I mean, he looked like Michael Jordan. 1st and 10, Bills. Thurman. Caught from behind by Sean Jones. He just crashed in from the right defensive end spot. There's a marker down.
Offside, number 96, defense. Lined up.
Maybe that's why he was able to get there so quick. Sean Jones called for being offside.
Sean Jones is not necessarily the overpowering defensive end that you see in the league, but he knows what people try and do to him, and he counteracts that.
Excellent pass rusher, has 8.5 sacks. 1st and 5 after the penalty. Thomas. Gray got him around the ankles, but he dives inside the 10-yard line, near a first down at the 8. Jeff Allman, Jerry Gray on the stop.
This is a particular area where I think Jim Kelly has struggled this year. We've seen some big interceptions. Obviously, Lewis Oliver ran one back on him for 103 yards in their first meeting with Miami. Jim will have a tendency to try and force the ball inside to his tight end or a running back, and he's got to be a little more careful down in this area.
An impressive drive for the Bills. 6 minutes in length already. 2nd and a yard. Thomas may have lost a half yard. Childress made the tackle after Alm messed up the timing on the play, and Alm is in there for Doug Smith. He's done a fine job in that line.
The Buffalo Bills run a similar play to counter Trey, the off guard and tackle pull. Thurman starts that way, Alm just messes the whole thing up, and he's there so quickly that he forces Thurman back into the pursuit of the Oilers.
They'll measure for the first down as Mitch, and it's going to be a yard shy. Mitch Farrat checks in, number 59, as an eligible receiver, and this is something the Oilers will certainly be conscious of. He's caught 2 passes for touchdowns this year. The first time someone since Anthony Munoz in '86 as an offensive lineman has 2 touchdowns. Probably wants to work out with the wide receivers all week. 3rd and a yard, a rare huddle for the Bills. Farrat to the left side of the line. Kelly sacked by Childress. A career-high 12 sacks by Ray Childress.
Well, you can credit the secondary, too. There's Farrat, number 59. Eddie Robinson just won't let him off the ball. Left part of your screen, Farrat tries to slice down. Eddie Robinson won't let him off. Forces Jim Kelly to hold it. Childress fights off the block and makes the play.
And Kelly is down holding his knee. Childress knocked to the ground, got up, and made the sack. What an effort.
And you could see Ray Childress sort of lean down on Jim Kelly's knee.
And Kelly
as he started
is
towards
hurt.
the ground.
This is one tough guy.
Watch Jim Kelly's right knee. Ray Childress gets up. Now he just sort of leans on him. You see him lean into it? And now right there. See how it goes down?
Oh, boy, that's too reminiscent of what happened to you to want to watch very often.
Now, I know Jim Kelly's not going to want to watch it, but it was the pressure was right on the outside part of the knee. And this AstroTurf, you're not going to move your foot. Once it's planted, it's not going to have a lot of slide or give.
And Frank Reich, the longtime backup out of the University of Maryland, who's been seldom used this year, having to warm up. And, of course, the injury list just continues to mount. Cornelius Bennett not able to play tonight because of a hamstring. And Steve Tasker, who has been to the Pro Bowl 4 times as a special teamer, has a bad knee. He is out. Kirby Jackson, the starting left corner, a bad knee. He is out. Bruce Smith is playing with 3 cracked ribs. We saw Thurman Thomas get his ribs hurt earlier, and now Kelly goes down. What happens if you've got to play next week, Joe, and you have all these guys who are integral parts of this ball club don't have any time to get better?
Well, you have to go without guys. I mean, last week the Bills did a sensational job without Smith or Bennett. Both those were out against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans, had a comeback victory. But I know what's on Marv Levy's mind right now is Jim Kelly's knee. One thing I will say is that Jim wears braces on both his knees. And hopefully, maybe it's just the sensation more than any severity in the injury.
Been down a long time. Of course, if you joined us late and you had not figured out the playoff scenario, Buffalo needs to win this game to win the AFC East. And it doesn't look like Jim Kelly is going to be back anytime soon, the way he's favoring that right leg. A brilliant play by Ray Childress, but the leg collapses as he makes the tackle.
Childress is blocked. I mean, he's down on the ground. He gets up and just leans in with his left knee and just leans down on Jim's knee. Totally unintentional.
A brilliant effort on his part, but the result is Kelly limping badly coming off the field. Well, you can tell Kelly in some real discomfort here. And on 4th and 8, the Bills forced to go with a Christie field goal attempt from 33 yards. He's already hit from 40. And Christie misses one. Only only the second field goal try inside 49 he's missed all year.
Dodge announces the perfect truck for work or play. Dodge Dakota. Whatever the job, Dakota has an available 180 horsepower Magnum V6. And for after hours, we really dress Dakota up with over $2,500 in options at no extra charge. Like air, power steering, stereo cassette, and more. Add $500 cash back and your total savings are over $3,000. See your nearest Dodge dealer for the perfect work or play pickup. Dodge Dakota.
Hi, I'm Carl, owner of Classic Cue Billiards and Cafe, with a tip here for all you pool players. When stroking the cue ball, concentrate on your follow-through, keeping your head down, your cue level, and following through on every shot. And you'll become a better player for it. We here at Classic Cue are more than just salespeople. We're pool players, with the knowledge and experience you need to buy yourself a pool cue. And remember, the tip here is, try it before you buy it.
Shopping for holiday gifts means answering a lot of questions, like what color to get, what size, what style. If you're not sure of all the answers, Eastern Hills Mall has one gift you can be sure of. Eastern Hills Mall gift certificates. They're the sure thing, sure to please and sure easy to get at the Eastern Hills Mall Information Center. The sure thing, no doubt about it.
A touchdown, and Warren Moon, for the first time in 6 weeks, is into the Oilers huddle at quarterback. Broken bone in his upper left arm.
He told me walking in tonight as he came into the stadium, he said, this reminds him of preseason a little bit. He's really nervous because he's not quite sure what it's going to feel like to take a hit on that shoulder.
Cody Carlson certainly not taken out because he was ineffective. Played very well and has given him a 7-point lead. Moon has it tipped into the air and knocked it away. Saved an interception. Jeff Wright almost able to pick it off. Marcus Patton, the man who knocked it up in the air.
Great penetration by Wright. The left side of your screen, number 91. There he is, number 91, just flying in, gets up in the air. Patton knocks it. Now Wright sees it. He's going for it. He's got an idea. Grabs Warren instead.
Marcus Patton, whose mother was a linebacker on a women's football team in Los Angeles. Moon to Lorenzo White. Hansen got him around the ankles and brought him down at the 24-yard line. Kelly being attended to on the sideline.
You know, he wears braces on both knees, which I really think they ought to make, man, you talk about protecting quarterbacks. I think they ought to make every quarterback in the league wear some type of protection for that simple reason. If he doesn't have anything on that knee, I'm sure the severity of the damage would and could have been much greater. Hopefully, it's nothing more than a sprain of some sort.
And they have developed lightweight braces that don't restrict mobility, don't bother speed. I'd like to see them put them on offense, on running back. 3rd and 6 for the Oilers. Here comes the blitz. A nice job of picking it up, and Moon unloads. Gibbons! Clifford Hicks recovered. May have gotten an arm in there and gotten away with it, but a great job by Hicks to make up ground.
Boy, and Warren Moon, there's nothing wrong with his right arm, I'll tell you that. He threw this thing all arm. Bruce Smith putting pressure on him. Moving on in. And there it is. I mean, Ernest Gibbons tries to make a play. All that was somebody fighting for the ball. Incidental contact. Nice job by Clifford Hicks.
4th and 6, Montgomery to kick to Hicks. Short. Hicks lets it go. It takes the huge bounce in the Oilers' favor inside the 20-yard line. And Montgomery got the benefit of the artificial turf for 59 yards.
This holiday season, people everywhere will be coming together to spread good cheer. And what better way to celebrate than with O'Doul's, the premium non-alcoholic brew from Anheuser-Busch that beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. And O'Doul's has only 70 calories. So enjoy the holidays with plenty of ice-cold O'Doul's.
The Lone Ranger.
Who was that masked man who stopped the horses?
I don't know, but he give me this.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going and...
Hey, check it out. Check it out. It's starting to snow.
The new Isuzu Trooper has been completely redesigned to include a powerful new engine, gripping suspension,
Let me see that hand.
and a tiny little knob
We're four-wheeling now, buddy.
to make everything right in the world again.
A special edition of the NHL on ESPN. Last season, Chicago made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. This year, Jeremy Reddick and the Blackhawks want it all. The Blackhawks face the Capitals Saturday at noon Eastern live on ESPN.
Houston with the lead. There is Jim Kelly being taken off the field on a cart with that right knee wrapped heavily in ice. And that is not a picture that will go in the Bills highlight reel. We'll check on the extent of his injury as quickly as we can. Frank Reich is in at quarterback. He has been able to do the job off the bench repeatedly for this ball club. Thurman Thomas picked up about 5. The biggest win of Reich's career came 2 years ago against Miami. He won the game that gave the Bills the AFC East title and home field advantage in the playoffs. Hit 15 out of 21 and 2 touchdowns against the Dolphins. He has actually lost only 1 game as a starter for the Bills. That was last season against Detroit. They lost in overtime. So Frank Reich can get it done. Thomas out to the 29-yard line.
While Frank Reich gets his feet wet, there's Kevin Gilbride on the right, Warren Moon talking over the offense a little bit. Like I say, there's nothing wrong with Warren's right arm. Both these guys have to refamiliarize themselves with one another.
Al Smith is the injured Oiler. And with that carry, Thurman Thomas has gone to 2,048 yards, combined yards from scrimmage this year. The 4th year to lead the NFL in that department. He breaks the tie with the legendary Jim Brown, and what a remarkable accomplishment. 4 straight years. He's just a wonderful player, Joe.
Unbelievable.
Thurman Thomas will be one of the featured stars as we bring you the Pro Bowl, the AFC-NFC All-Star Game from Honolulu. That will be Sunday, February 7th at 8 o'clock. Joe Theismann and I, along with Chris Berman, Tom Jackson from the sunny shores of Honolulu. And the NFL has renewed that game in Honolulu through 1998. And gosh darn it, we'll have to go over there all the way through 1998.
And there's another guy who's got the invitation, Al Smith, his 2nd consecutive.
And will be a starter for the 2nd straight year. Long overdue award for him. And if you're a linebacker and not a sacker, it's tough to get credit in this league. But how about New Orleans? All 4 of their guys go. That's well-deserved. 1st and 10, Buffalo. 5:59 to go first half. Thomas, another gaping hole. Robertson knocks him down at the 45. Boy, he gets to the hole in a hurry.
You really put the nail on the head. The difference between Kenneth Davis and Thurman Thomas is the speed with which he hits the hole. Watch this, no hesitation. He sees it, he feels it. Ken Hall gives him a huge hole to start and run through, and then it's up to the secondary to bring him down.
8 carries, 58 yards first half for Thurman Thomas. This time he gets out to near the 48-yard line, and this is against the number 7 defense in the national, or the number 4 defense in the NFL. This has been crafted by Jim Eddy.
This is going to sound a little bit repetitive, but he cannot afford to just try and allow those 4 guys up front to penetrate. He's talked about putting pressure on his corners. This would be a down when you'd expect some blitzing from the linebacker.
2nd and 7, right to the shotgun. Childress with another sack. This guy is special. Number 2 on the team in tackles. He leads them in sacks. It's unheard of for a tackle.
Len Parker, number 74 on the right side. Childress just takes a quick rip around. He's so quick, Parker can't even tackle him. I guess if there was an all-world category, Ray should wind up in it.
3rd and 15 after the sack. Lee Williams. That's his 9th of the year.
Now we saw Childress take the outside of Parker. Lee Williams turned lower right part of your screen. Number 97 up against Will Wolford. Thinks he has him pinned inside, but an excellent job by the secondary making Reich hold the ball.
Chris Moore, who averages nearly 42 yards a kick, will punt, and Webster Slaughter waits at his own 25. Line drive kick. Slaughter at the 30. Can't get outside. Forced out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A return of 4 after a punt of 39. The defense for the Oilers stepping up big.
So many trucks. So many trucks means so much variety. Right now at your Western New York GMC truck dealer. If you thought GMC trucks were just tough pickups, think again. We've got family vans, sport utility vehicles, and more. Check out the Sierra. So many trucks. The Safari van. So many trucks. The new Sonoma. So many trucks. Jimmy's. So many trucks. And the family-size Suburban. Hurry to your nearby Western New York GMC truck dealer today. With so many trucks, there's so little time.
Premier Liquor has been a holiday tradition for almost 25 years. Premier has the largest selection of wine and spirits, including gift-wrapped bottles and special wine and spirit gifts. With a warehouse larger than most other stores, Premier is the only place to go for large case purchases. And Premier's helpful wine consultants can help you find the right wine from our award-winning selection. Only Premier has clean, wide aisles, computerized checkouts, free off-street parking, and low-volume discount prices. The Premier Center, making holidays as easy to afford as they are to enjoy.
If you drive a stick shift, you probably make over 70,000 shifts a year. Sooner or later, you'll experience some kind of problem. Will it be a big problem or a small one? It takes a trained technician to know. At AMCO Centers, they've serviced enough stick shifts to distinguish between the two. Half the sticks they service only need clutch work, not a new transmission. Next time you throw a shift that doesn't feel just right, come to AMCO. Don't play games with your transmission.
Visit one of our 2 convenient locations, West Seneca and Cheektowaga.
Have Houston leading Buffalo 10-3. The Bills have the AFC East title on the line. Here's the playoff schedule in the NFC. In the first round, the Redskins will play at the Vikings. Philadelphia plays at New Orleans. Dallas gets the first round bye, and they will play the first round winner that has the best record out of that group. San Francisco, with a first round week's rest, will play the first round winner with the worst record. We will give you the times of those games as soon as they're determined late in this one, because this will influence what happens in the NFC as far as times of games. Warren Moon under pressure on the blitz, nearly picked off by Odom. And Moon took a shot that time, and you can see him grimace.
Wow. Warren says, wow. Kurt Schultz comes flying in, number 24, right part of your screen. He comes right around the top. Warren took a shot on the chest, not on the shoulder blade, but he still takes a pretty good jolt right there.
I'd say so. And he came away wincing. 3:54 to go first half. Maley faked the blitz and was offside. Intended for Slaughter, incomplete. And a little pushing and shoving after the play. Jerry Markbright will make the call.
Offside, number 56, defense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
We saw Cody Carlson pull Bruce Smith off in the first quarter. Now Warren Moon is doing in the second. If you've got a defense that's teed up with great pass rushers, you want to go with the hard counts to try and get them off. But this series and the opportunity to play for Warren Moon is very important. He's very rusty. He's rushing his throws. He's really strong-arming the ball instead of throwing it. So he has to continue to get a little more comfortable. Cody Carlson has played a lot, so he's been that way. But Warren looks really rusty.
2nd and 5 after the penalty. Slaughter on the end around. Clifford Hicks did a nice job to force it wide, then he's knocked out of bounds after a gain of a couple by James Williams.
Another thing that Warren Moon is wearing is he's wearing a different type of a shoulder pad. And anytime you play with a quarterback shoulder pads, right here, they're Douglas pads, but that's the area I want you to look at. That's the normal pad he would wear without the injury. Now what they've done is you can see they've added this area. And that's just given him a bigger protective area, but it also is a little bit more cumbersome for him to get his left shoulder out of the way to make the delivery.
He said he feels tight. He doesn't feel like his throwing motion extends enough, but it does. They've studied it on videotape. Third and 3. Complete pass to Slaughter, first down. Kelso forced him out of bounds. The first completion for Warren Moon and a first down.
Webster Slaughter has really helped this Oiler offense, and the more playing time he gets, the better he's going to be. Next year, he's going to be sensational, and he's really learning how to play. But you can't throw unless you get good pass protection. Lorenzo White doing a great job of blocking Schultz. I mean, Lorenzo said his job, number 1, is to block. Number 2 is to run. Number 3 is to receive.
He's done a sensational job with all 3 of them. Moon in rhythm to Slaughter for the 19. Webster Slaughter came in the middle of the year as a free agent, freed by the judge. Had no idea what this offense was about. It's been a tremendous struggle for him to try to pick up the nuances of the run and shoot.
And from the goalpost cam, look at the left part of your screen. Warren takes 2 steps, reads it. So does Webster. And that's the toughest position in this offense as far as receivers go, is the slot position. Because he has 4 options from there. He could go up, he could hook, he could go in, or he could bend it just a little bit.
Houston has looked very sharp in the first half. 2:10 to go in the half. First down, Buffalo 19. White. Straight ahead handoff, a rarity in this offense, and he's down to the 17-yard line. That will bring us to the 2-minute warning. And the Oilers playing to win this one and have a rematch in Buffalo next week, up by a touchdown.
We'll take the flip, the kick, the headbutt, and the taunt. Brr, throw in that and that. Looks good. Give me the field, too. Grab the stadiums, grab that, grab that. Do you have anything in a clothesline tackle? Good. Give me that. Give me the wave. No, no, yes. We'll take that, the dive. Party time. Let's do that and that. Not that, that, and that. Give me that again. Timeout. If it's in the game, it's in the game. John Madden Football 93 for Super NES and Sega Genesis.
Where'd that truck come from?
EA Sports. It's in the game.
The new Isuzu Trooper has been completely redesigned to be as smooth and comfortable as possible, especially where you feel it the most. Introducing the new Trooper Lease. See your participating Isuzu dealer for details. The new Isuzu Trooper has been completely redesigned with a powerful new V6 engine, gripping new suspension. Why, it's even easier to get into. Introducing the new Trooper Lease. See your participating Isuzu dealer for details.
He's history's most celebrated quarterback. Now he's coaching Budweiser in Bud Bowl 5. Yes, some men are born to be football legends.
Give every last drop. We're going to win. We're Budweiser.
Of course, some men aren't.
We'll win it, because we're Bud Light. You ever wonder how they get the strings in these things?
Bud Bowl 5. It's back. Get your ticket where you buy Bud, Bud Light, and Bud Dry. Someone will win $1 million in cash.
2-minute warning first half. Houston up by 7, driving for more. And a crowd of 63,000 plus on hand at the Dome. Here's the Budweiser storyline. Jim Kelly is out with a knee injury. He's being x-rayed. We'll give you an update as soon as possible. Warren Moon, his first action in 6 weeks. His numbers, Ray Childress with 2 sacks on defense. Buffalo was thrown for only 28 yards in the game. Houston over the 100 mark in the first half. Spot the ball at the Buffalo 17, 2nd and 8 for Warren Moon and the Oilers. Touchdown, Jeffrey. Haywood Jeffries with his 9th touchdown catch of the year. Warren Moon with his 18th touchdown pass.
When you take a safety and try and go up on the nose of Haywood Jeffries, you've got to win. You're the Houston Oilers. He has got to win that for you.
4 catches, 34 yards, and a score, and that's the rookie, Kurt Schultz, who had the big sack earlier, but was burned on that one. And Del Greco on for the point after. Warren Moon, after missing his first 3, hits for 17, 21, and 17 yards and a touchdown.
This is man-to-man coverage. When you go man-to-man, you better get to the quarterback or your wide receiver's got to win. There's Haywood. He's coming in, and he's going to the corner. Good job by the line. Moon looks off the safety, lets the ball go, makes the catch. That's a no-brainer. Got to have it. This one's going to come right at you. See Warren look the safety off to the right. Now he just fires it to the corner of the end zone, and Haywood's there waiting for it. Does an excellent sell job on the post. Moon looking off, now comes back, finds the receiver, lets it fly.
Doesn't look too rusty anymore, does he?
Nah, the rust fell off real quick. Put a coat of Rust-Oleum on it, bang, ready to roll.
Jeffries with a career high, and the Oilers trying to make a statement here. If they win, they go to Buffalo to play. Of course, if they didn't win and would play Buffalo, I wouldn't think they would have a chance. If they win here, you know they go out there with all the confidence in the world.
I'll tell you something. The Oilers are, to me, the scariest team in the AFC. I mean, Jack Pardee put it as well as anybody. There are days when every team in the AFC has played well, but there are also days when everybody has played poor. And he feels like his football team has as good a chance as anybody.
And of course, if Buffalo goes on to lose this game, they have to stare at their injury list. Del Greco to kick to Kenneth Davis and Al Edwards. 1:56 to go in the half. This one returnable. Davis from the 1. Did not make the 20-yard line. Hope you stay with us at halftime. Coming up, we'll have the fastest 3 minutes in television with Chris Berman, an in-depth look at the playoff picture. It's something we can probably figure out by now. And then Joe will be back with a first half analysis. And Frank Reich will have to do the job for the Buffalo Bills with Jim Kelly in the locker room having that injured right knee x-rayed right now. Reich with 3 wide receivers and 1:54 to go in the half. Running for his life and throws it away. There wasn't a soul out there. William Fuller had a hold of him, and Frank Reich arguing with Jerry Markbright, but he's not going to win this one. Jerry just said, oh, come on.
Intentional ground, number 14. The penalty is enforced at the spot of the pass.
One of the advantages of playing
we
at
have
home
also lost it down.
is you can anticipate the snap count and get off on the ball. Derek Thomas told us in Kansas City that's enough. Watch him get off the ball. And he actually raised up instead of going forward, instead of crossing the line. Fuller grabs Reich, brings him down. That's what's known as getting rid of the ball to avoid a sack.
14 yards on the play.
From the goalpost cam. Houston with 4 sacks. That counts as a sack, even though it really wasn't. 2nd and 24. Thomas on the delay. Childress slowed him up and then got a lot of help. And now Houston wants to use a timeout, I believe, and they do. And Jeff Alm is injured for the Oilers. We've had a lot of guys spend some time on the AstroTurf tonight, and Alm, of course, filling in for the already injured Doug Smith, who's been out quite a while. Pulled a hamstring and put on IR in the middle of November. So they would run short of defensive tackles. The only other man listed there is Glenn Montgomery.
Ray Childress, number 79, is having a career half. Plays off the block of John Davis. Slides outside. Forces Thomas inside.
And the thing about Childress, he does not have that defensive tackle body, with all due respect to everybody else. There's no gut hanging out there. He's not, he doesn't look like he's 30 pounds overweight.
Yeah, but he's 6'6", he's 270. It's spread over a great frame. And like I said, the big thing about him is physically, if he just stands up, you say, well, he's like everybody else. What really gives him an edge is his explosion off the ball. He is attacking offensive linemen. He's not waiting for them to come at him.
And he's one of those guys who never quits. And that sack of Jim Kelly was a perfect indication of that. Alm is still down and now able to get up, and we'll check on him in a second. You like bowl games? We got bowl games. Thrifty Car Rental Bowl week begins Tuesday, the 29th at 7:45, Copper Bowl. Number 18, Washington State against Utah. The 30th at 7:45 Eastern, the Holiday Bowl, Illinois and Hawaii. Thursday, December 31st at 12:30, the Independence, Wake Forest and Oregon. Later that same night at 7:45, the Liberty. Number 20, Ole Miss against Air Force. Friday, January 1st, Hall of Fame Bowl, Tampa. Number 16, Boston College. Number 17, Tennessee. And then Saturday, January 2nd, the Peach Bowl. Number 24, Mississippi State. Number 19, North Carolina. And then you can go to sleep.
Well, of course, you and I will have an opportunity to see Boston College and Tennessee when we do the Hall of Fame Bowl down in Tampa.
We'll be down there with Dr. Jerry Punch. Hope you'll join us on New Year's Day morning. 3rd and 24. For BB, McDowell intercepts. Bubba McDowell with a convoy. The second interception tonight for the Oilers secondary, the 3rd on the year for Bubba McDowell, who was in last year's Pro Bowl.
When it's 3rd down and 3 miles, you see Bubba McDowell, he's just going back. He is not going to let a receiver get behind him, but he does a great job here. Instead of waiting for the ball to come down and BB take it away from him, he goes up and plays the ball. Now you can see that he wasn't necessarily a running back, but he knows what to do when people get close. He protects himself. Frank Reich just airs this out. You can see Bubba McDowell on the right part of the screen just looking all the way. BB doing everything he can to break it up.
McDowell should have made the Pro Bowl last year. His numbers down this season. He's had an injured right arm all year. Moon still at quarterback. Bruce Smith goes after him. Pass too high for Webster Slaughter. Smith nearly got there for the sack.
Don Mag, not necessarily the healthiest person either, does a good initial pop on Smith. And you see Bruce come around the corner and just get Warren's ankles, but it was a little bit too late.
2nd and 10, a minute 18 to go in the half. Houston already up 17-3, bidding for more. Webster Slaughter has certainly been Moon's favorite target. This time he gets out to Duncan, and Duncan is forced out of bounds at the 28-yard line. James Williams on the coverage.
Curtis Duncan just sort of floats through a football game, and when you turn around, you say, oh, he's got 82 catches this year. I mean, obviously, he hasn't gotten in the end zone a lot. He has the one touchdown, but he has been the steadiest of the receivers. Doesn't put the ball on the ground much. Very stocky, very physical guy. Knows the offense very well. Got to delight Jack Pardee.
Warren Moon eyes the defense as possession receiver Duncan comes near side on 3rd and 5. Bruce Smith may have jumped again. Flag is down. Duncan struggling to get the first down, lost the football. Still loose, and it looks like Houston may have gotten it back. But I think the play would have been brought back anyway because of the offsides. James Williams in there on the defensive play, stripped it away for the Bills.
You see Marv Levy arguing, saying it's got to be on the quarterback, a head bob. But Bruce Smith trying to anticipate. I doubt if Bruce is looking in and seeing Warren's head. He's hearing the hard counts. J.D. Williams doing what he has to force the ball loose. Does an excellent job. Clifford Hicks can't quite get the handle on it, but it doesn't matter. Smith was offside.
And they'll walk that one off down inside the 23-yard line. And Marv Levy cannot be pleased with what he has seen with his ball club tonight. They come in here having to win to get the AFC East, the home field advantage, and Houston dominating them on both sides of the ball, and their injury problems continue to mount. 1st and 10 after the penalty. They want the screen and almost picked off. Jeff Wright had the ball thrown right into his chest and nearly got it. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week last week for a great performance against New Orleans. 5 solo tackles, 2 sacks.
You got to give the center screen a chance to develop. This time the defensive line gets great penetration. Smith does it. Forces Warren to throw it a little bit earlier, and Jeff Wright can't believe it. Goes right through his arms. Look at that. Right off his arms, almost into Lorenzo.
Jeff Wright, one of those people who will be a free agent February 1st. Turned down a big contract increase this year, said it wasn't enough. Draw, White. Got it down to the 15-yard line. He'll be a couple yards shy of a first down. Darryl Talley kicked the pins out from under him.
One of the things that the offensive line does of the Houston Oilers is they line up with their feet parallel, so it's very difficult to read either run or pass. See their feet right here? See how they're parallel? They're all set now. Normally, that would be a pass set. They're nice and square. Now they run the drop step, turn, and let Lorenzo White pick a hole. Darryl Talley told me, he said, it's the toughest offensive line to read because normally offensive linemen are back on their heels when they pass set. With this offensive line that Bob Young coaches, he said they're always on their heels, so you can't read pass or run.
Darryl also said you need a key to find out where you're going on defense, and they don't give you one. Talley is another guy long overlooked for Pro Bowl honors, made it the last couple of years, did not make it this year. Felt he played as well as anybody at an outside linebacker, and you talk about somebody whose motor is always going, that's Darryl Talley. 50 seconds to go first half. Houston on the march again at the Buffalo 16, facing a 3rd and 3. Already leading 17-3. They have 1 timeout left. To Jeffries, a first down at the 6-yard line. Odoms and Conlon on the tackle, clock running. And both Cody Carlson and Warren Moon have looked sharp. And Moon just kills the clock.
Gosh, that's ugly.
Yes,
I mean, that is really ugly. You got these great quarterbacks, just throwing these little dink jobs down.
Well, the next thing you quarterbacks will want to do is make that not count as an incomplete pass so it doesn't hurt your statistics.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. I mean, that can't count as anything but ugly. Cody Carlson on the left, Kevin Gilbride, that he's not getting loose. He's doing a little signal to Warren. Warren Moon, you know, for the first time in 6 weeks, he's actually seeing the signs from a different position, too.
You know, the one thing the Oilers were trying to do tonight was not destroy Carlson's confidence by taking him out of the ball game if he had not played well, and yet at the same time trying to give Warren Moon a working in. 2nd and goal. White. Marcus Patton slowed him up and made the tackle at the 11. Fine play by the third-year outside linebacker. Marv Levy said the only reason he wasn't a starter is because Cornelius Bennett and Darryl Pally, period.
Then they made the move inside with Bennett because they needed some help with the running game. It gave Marcus Patton an opportunity to play that outside linebacker position, and it's really helped that defense out a lot.
Oilers used their last timeout with 20 seconds on the clock.
So you got to throw here. You got to throw for 2 reasons. Number one, you have no timeouts left. So you don't want to hurry Al out onto the field with this field goal team. Number two, you put the ball in the hands of Warren Moon. And with the spread offense, with his arm, if there's the slightest little hole to get the ball in, he'll be able to fire it in. And the third reason is the Buffalo Bill defense has got to be exhausted because they've been on the field an awful lot in the first half.
Which is something the Buffalo offense, not being able to mount anything but that one long drive, and they only got a field goal out of it, they have not helped their defense stay off the field tonight. And there is a courageous performance tonight by Bruce Smith, playing with 3 cracked ribs. And every time we've gotten a close-up shot of him tonight, you can tell the pain he has been in.
With 15 drives that the Bills have been in with goal to go, they've given up 13 touchdowns and just 2 field goals.
20 seconds to go. 3rd and goal from the 10 for the Oilers. This is a critical defensive stand for Buffalo.
Got to make them just get 3.
Four-man rush. Moon to White, but it's at the 1-yard line. No timeouts. Can they get in time for the field goal? It is 4th down. They can't kill the clock. And flags are down. They were not set. Everybody on the offense has to be set for 1 second, and they didn't make it.
If it's an offensive penalty, they don't get another shot at it. If it's a defensive penalty, it'll have an opportunity to kick the field goal. It's a question of who it's going to be against.
And the way Bruce Smith reacted, it might go against Buffalo. Boy, nothing has gone right for Marv Levy tonight.
You see what Marv Levy is saying. They have to report. When those guys run onto the field, they've got to let them know. I mean, you've got people out of position. You've got tackles at the end position and everything else.
There was no time for much reporting.
Jerry Seaman back in the head office back in New York. He's going to sit down and be having a real review session with this game.
Players on the field just waiting for the officials' conference to make a decision.
You know, the one thing I don't understand is I don't understand why the Buffalo Bills tried to substitute on their defensive team. Just let the 11 guys out there. It's Houston's job to try and get a kickoff. You leave the 11 guys out there.
I mean, this was a fire drill here.
There it is. Here's the play. Who is where?
Well, obviously, one of the Buffalo players was still on the field when that snap was made, an extra player, but Houston was not set.
But none of the Oiler players were set.
So that could be offsetting penalties. Jack Pardee calling his players
this.
back.
Look it. Is anybody set? Yeah, it looks like the Oilers got
The Oilers
set.
may have gotten...
We had offsetting fouls. The offensive team did not report ineligible numbers at eligible positions, and the defense never got back across the line of scrimmage, which constitutes a kill. The play should not have been allowed to go. We're going to have another down on the snap.
So they have to put time back on the clock because the penalty would have stopped the clock where it was. And Marv Levy wants a personal explanation.
What's going to happen is the first thing is that Marv was right. They didn't report. They had ineligible receivers. The second thing is the defense was offside. You basically have offsetting penalties, so you have to redo it. There's your ineligible receiver, and there's the guy that's offside. So now this one cancels, this one, and then we get to kick it over.
The break for Houston is, say it had been offsetting penalties for personal fouls, the clock would have expired and they don't get another shot at it.
That's where I don't understand that you try and make a substitution package with your field goal block unit. Leave your defense on the field. All the pressure is on the Oilers to get it off, not on you to try. I mean, what, you can try and block it?
Exactly.
Plus, the other thing is don't forget, your players are running from the 35-yard line all the way down to the other end of the field.
And discussions continue on the field. Darryl Talley is pleading his case to one set of officials, Marv Levy to another.
Let me qualify this for everybody. If it was just an offensive penalty, a penalty against the Oilers, the half would have ended. They would not have had to do it over. And now then the Buffalo Bills, on the other hand, if it's a defensive penalty, you get to play over. Now, here's another one. See those feet right there? He's still on the field. The Oilers are still on the field as well when the ball is snapped. There he is. Right up there. Still on the field. But, of course, they had the ineligible receiver. Pick a penalty.
They're going to have to sort this one out with a computer next week. I mean, Marv Levy is more upset than anything because they get another crack at it. And it's basically an extra point that would put them up 20-3 going into the locker room.
And the Buffalo Bill defense did its job, though. They did not allow the Oilers to put 7 up on the board. They've managed to make them try for a field goal.
Thought it was something of a miracle that Houston had the discipline.
The defensive man never got back across the line. The play is nullified. There is no foul on the offense for not reporting. There is a 5-yard penalty for a defensive offside on the defense, and we have a time down to 3 seconds. That's it.
All right. They said, well, you heard that. There's no penalty for not reporting. And the defense offside canceled it out.
Well, even if it was offsetting penalties,
it's fourth
they
down.
put 3 seconds back on the clock and they get another field goal try.
But they missed the Houston Oilers, the 12th guy that was still on the field.
They may have missed more than that on this game. The report on Jim Kelly, a sprained ligament on the side of his knee. We do not know whether he is out for tonight. He is. All right, we've confirmed that. Hopefully he will be available for next week if the Bills have to go back to Buffalo and play in the first round of the playoffs. And the Bills have now called a timeout.
Marv Levy is waving over Jerry Markwright. He wants an explanation.
He wants to know how all this happened. I've had enough. I don't want to know. There's 3 seconds on the clock, and they're going to try a field goal. That's it. Chris Berman will be up in just a moment as we go back to our studios at halftime for the fastest 3 minutes in television. And yes, this is the slowest 3 minutes in television. As a matter of fact, this is the slowest 4 minutes in television.
We're setting you up for the fastest, though.
Yes. It'll go a lot faster than it normally does. Could we please kick this field goal? Actually shorter than an extra point. as Montgomery, the punter, holds for Al Del Greco. It's an 18-yard try. And it's good, and the half is over. So the Oilers dominate the injury-riddled Buffalo Bills and lead it at halftime 20-3. That's the first half from Houston. Let's join Chris Berman.
All right, Mike and Joe, thank you. Let's see if we can't squeeze in highlights of the entire season faster than they figured out that field goal fiasco at the end of the half. Rough one for Buffalo as they trail the Oilers 20-3. This was the day that a couple of playoff berths were left to be decided, one in each conference. For the Green Bay Packers, it was a heck of a run for them, but if they could win their 7th straight, they'd knock the defending champ Skins out of the playoff picture. They had to win in Minnesota, but Sean Salisbury staked his claim to the quarterback job from Steve Gordon from Brown University. Then Mike Miami Tice, another tight end, touchdown. The Vikings rolled the Pack 27-7 to knock them out of the playoffs, but couldn't knock Sterling Sharp out of the record books. 108 catches. Congratulations. A single season record breaking the mark of Art Monk. Denver at Kansas City. John Elway under pressure, picked off by the rookie Dale Carter. Look, dip, and he's on his way into the end zone. It's a touchdown. The Chiefs defense scoring 3 times today. Derek Thomas, the sack, the fumble, the recovery, a full-service car wash. KC in the playoffs to beat Denver 42-20. San Diego couldn't win the West with a win at Seattle, but Stan Humphries separated left shoulder when he's sacked by Kennedy and Porter. But it was the Poltergeist defense that paved the way. Darren Carrington, a touchdown. Bobby Ross, he's pretty in pink. What is that, Pepto-Bismol? The Chargers win 31-14. Mack back for the Pats at home against the Dolphins. Bobby Humphries, 1-yard run, tied it at 13 to overtime. Pete Stoyanovich, it's good. The Dolphins put themselves in a position to win the East. If Buffalo loses, 16-13, Miami wins. Giants at the Eagles. Randall Cunningham, the bomb to Calvin Williams. It's a touchdown. Cunningham. Now, Giants defense, where's the team speed? Touchdown, Randall. Here's the team speed. Right here, they can't wait to get out of the building. Philadelphia beats the Giants 20-10. Falcons and the Rams. Todd put the heat in the kitchen. Pair of punt returns for this Ram against the Atlanta Falcons, 61 yards. He threw everything except the kitchen sink. Another touchdown on a punt return. The Rams over Atlanta 38-27. The Bucs and the Cardinals. What would you expect from this? Maybe if Paul Revere and the Raiders kicks just keep getting harder to find. Eddie Murray, Greg Davis, Lou Groza, Lou Michaels. It doesn't matter who's kicking. It's no good. Hey, Sam says we're number 1. A great game. Tampa Bay beat Phoenix 7-3. Browns and the Steelers. Barrel and Barry Foster. Bananas Foster gets his just desserts as the Steelers beat the Browns 23-13. But the big story, Foster, 100 yards for the 12th time this season, times the NFL mark held by Eric Dickerson. Look at his teammates mob him. Job well done, the Steelers win. Bears and Cowboys, Foster's mark already on the board. Emmett wants to win his 2nd straight rushing title. Emmitt Smith could go all the way out of the stadium. For the last time in a stadium, Mike Singletary, the Chicago Bears. Dallas wins at 27-14. What a job by Ted Marchibroda. Last year, the Colts 1-15. Today, as they beat the Bengals 21-17, thanks to Rodney Culver's run, they're 9-7, 8-game turnaround. And as Singletary retires, Anthony Munoz, a statue at left tackle for the Bengals. Mike and Anthony, we'll miss you.
The fastest 3 minutes is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance.
When we return, Tom Jackson joins me. We'll be talking playoffs. Eagles and Saints in an opening round head knocker.
Gone are the days of the 2-week vacation. The average American getaway has sadly dwindled to 4.1 days. But what hasn't diminished is our need to escape to a quiet, stress-free environment, like the luxurious interior of the Acura Vigor. Don't think of it as a drive to work. Think of it as a 30-minute vacation. See your Acura dealer now for details on the Acura Vigor Luxury Lease Program.
Anyone who says it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game, doesn't understand the game. Because when even one child loses interest in school, we all lose. We all lose. And we can't afford that. The National Football League wants to help make learning fun. The big idea is in the cards. The FACT program is based on the fun kids have with football trading cards. Sets of cards and other materials are sent directly to schools. They feature players and pose challenging questions.
Who can define self-esteem?
Self-esteem.
Eduardo. Self-esteem is to feel good about yourself, respecting and believing in yourself.
That's fact. Because when it comes to learning, these guys play to win. Football and academics, a championship team.
Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
All right, welcome back to halftime. Tom Jackson with me now. The Oilers leading the Bills 20-3. Tell you what, why don't we have the first crack at the playoffs? Let's give it a look. Here are the scenarios, all right? If Houston wins, and they're leading right now, the AFC next weekend would have Kansas City at San Diego on Saturday, Houston at Buffalo, the rematch, but up at Rich Stadium Sunday. Pittsburgh and Miami would get the byes with Pittsburgh home through the playoffs. If Buffalo comes back to win, then they would be home throughout the playoffs and get a bye along with Pittsburgh. Houston would go to San Diego on Saturday. Kansas City would be at Miami on Sunday. The NFC, we know the story there. Saturday, Washington at Minnesota. The Skins with the reprieve. Sunday, Philadelphia is at New Orleans. The Niners and Cowboys have the opening week off. Well, Tommy, since we know the NFC matchups, let's start there. Washington and Minnesota, they played back in Week 8 on the same field. The Skins won 15-13 with 5 Low Miller field goals. But you like what you saw in Minnesota today, a thing we haven't seen for about 6 weeks.
Well, I think offensively they've been searching for some consistency at the quarterback, and most important to them is going to be the play of Sean Salisbury and the decisions that he makes at the quarterback position. Today he reestablished the tight end, Steve Jordan, from Brown University, into their offense, and if he can hit him 5-6 times, use him as an outlet from the pressure, then he's going to have good success. The other thing that they're looking forward to is the possibility of getting Chris Carter back into that offense.
Well, that would really mean a lot of weapons for him. And Allen ran another good game today. They like to have him run and use the tight end. Philadelphia at New Orleans, way back in Week 1, same score. Philly won at home 15-13, allowing New Orleans only 8 first downs. But Randall was sacked 6 times. Can the Saints do a job on Randall, Tommy?
Well, the pressure is going to be there, and it's going to be how Randall Cunningham handles the pressure of the 2 outside linebackers, Ricky Jackson and Pat Swilling. Here, he makes the good decision. There you see the pressure coming from the outside backers. He makes the decision to throw the ball right here. He's going to have to make decisions that are absolutely that quick. Sometimes it's going to be running out of the pocket. Sometimes it's going to be the quick release. And at times, he's going to have to take the sack, eat the ball, and line up for the next play.
And we've seen in all 4 of these NFC teams, their defenses overshadow the offenses. And I tell you what, in Philly and New Orleans, these are 2 teams that have not had playoff success. Saints have never won one. These Eagles have never won one.
Somebody's going to win one.
This just in. Somebody has to win. And the winner, that's going to be awfully dangerous. Right now, the Oilers are awfully dangerous to the Bills quarterbacks. They lead Buffalo 20-3. Halftime continues in a moment.
Dodge announces the perfect truck for work or play. Dodge Dakota. Whatever the job, Dakota has an available 180 horsepower Magnum V6. And for after hours, we really dress Dakota up with over $2,500 in options at no extra charge. Like air, power steering, stereo cassette, and more. Add $500 cash back and your total savings are over $3,000. See your nearest Dodge dealer for the perfect work or play pickup. Dodge Dakota.
Yeah, this is the place. Caps. They have everything I want. This'll be just perfect. They know exactly what I need. And competitively priced, too.
Caps Fishing and Hunting. Everything for your outdoor needs.
right price at Hutchins Automotive. Fixing a car can be a big, big drag when you can't find the parts that you need. You feel like a clown calling all around town. Hey, just follow my lead.
Don't be left out in the cold. Delco Freedom batteries have the cranking power you need. Save 10% now at Hutchins.
The right parts at the right price at Hutchins Automotive.
ESPN Radio.
Oh, well, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'll only hold a grudge till I die, is what most of the players say.
I'm closer to 50 than I am to 20. Eating some peanuts, buying hamburgers. You can do it too. Can I get an amen? Amen.
Sports Radio, ESPN.
I want to do radio, baby, and beyond and on.
Halftime at the Astrodome with the Houston Oilers are dominating the Buffalo Bills 20-3. And, of course, the Bills came into this game having to win their 5th straight AFC East title and clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They're not doing a very good job of it right now. And worse than that, their injury list continues to mount. The one guy they probably couldn't afford to lose at all, they have lost tonight, and that's their quarterback, Jim Kelly.
Right, and it was a great play by Ray Childress that really put him out. On the particular play, it's a short yardage situation. Kelly with the play action fake to Gardner. Now he sets, looks down the field, trying to get it to Mitch Farrat. You see Childress be blocked by Hull, jumps up, and then his left knee or hip just lays on Kelly's right knee, bends it down to the ground, and that's sort of been the story of the night for Marv Levy. I mean, we've seen Thurman Thomas go to the locker room. He comes back with sore ribs. Then shortly after that, Kelly goes down. I mean, it's one thing after another that seems to be mounting against the Buffalo Bills.
The update on Kelly's injury, a sprained ligament in his right knee. That was the diagnosis made in the locker room. They will have to wait 72 hours before they reevaluate him, and will be able to know whether he can play next week, if there is a next week for Buffalo in the first round of the playoffs at home. Where does that leave them with Frank Reich, in your opinion?
Well, I think mechanically Frank Reich can get the job done. Like you say, he's only lost one game as a starter. He's very capable. But the key is what about the intangible of leadership that Jim Kelly has?
Exactly.
That's what I think is going to be the intangible. But certainly, Frank Reich can get the ball to Thurman Thomas, and I think Thurman Thomas is the guy that's going to carry this team as far as it's going to go.
All right, third quarter coming up from the Astrodome. Big ball game for both ball clubs for a variety of reasons. Back in a moment.
It's the same thing every Saturday. He puts on those old blue jeans and goes out with that old dog, and he's gone all day. He says he's going to bring back dinner, but all he ever brings back is that old dog.
Here's to old dogs, Saturday mornings, and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
Our score at halftime in the Astrodome, the Oilers 20 and the Bills 3. We'll be back with the second half kickoff after you listen to this word from NFL Charities.
Kelly all alone.
Many winners in the NFL are also leading contributors off the field. And NFL Charities helps those current and former players give back to their communities. Jim Kelly helps through his Kelly for Kids Foundation. Derek Thomas through his Third and Long Foundation. And founder of the Miami Project, former Miami Dolphins star Nick Bonaconti.
The NFL is just not a one-way street. They don't just take, but they give back. Because when my son got hurt, they were some of the first people to write a check to help us found the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis.
With the support of the NFL clubs, through NFL Charities, we at the Page Education Foundation have been able to help make a difference in the lives of hundreds of minority students here in Minnesota.
You know, the NFL just doesn't play football. They are part of the community. They give back to the community. They support events, they support organizations, and they make charity what it's supposed to be.
NFL Charities, making a difference in the lives of people.
This evening, NFL Charities announced a block grant of $100,000 to 10 charitable foundations run by current and former NFL players, including Jim Kelly's Kelly for Kids Foundation. NFL Charities was formed by the NFL clubs so that the clubs could collectively make grants to worthy national causes. In recent years, NFL Charities has made grant commitments of more than $13 million. Houston will kick off to start the second half. The Oilers leading it 20-3. And the Bills with a long road back if they hope to win the AFC East. They are getting ready to celebrate in Miami. Kenneth Davis and Al Edwards are deep for Del Greco. Davis at the 2. Nice hole up the sideline for Kenneth Davis across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Gary Brown made the tackle there. First half stats. 159 passing yards to only 28 for the Buffalo Bills. They did rush for 96 yards in the first half.
And to me, that's just not the way the Buffalo Bills are going to win football games, by having more rushing yards than passing yards. They throw the ball early. It sets up their run late in the game. That's how they get balance.
And the 2 turnovers have been huge, as well as the 4 sacks, 2 by Childress. Reich at quarterback. Thurman Thomas crosses the 41 to about the 42-yard line.
You know, Mike, this is a distinctively different Buffalo Bill offense. One guy who's really been conspicuous by his absence is Andre Reed. I mean, the ball never goes to him. He's only had 1 touchdown in the last 9 weeks, and he's been a big part of the success of the Bills, and he's non-existent.
And even though he has 60 catches, that's the worst in 5 years. He's been very vocal about it, too. There's Reed over the middle. That is his patented pattern underneath. He is fearless in that area, but the change in offensive coordinators has been a reduction in placement for him.
They let him clean out. He comes under Jackson. He just drags across the middle, down around the linebackers. Doesn't bother him at all. He'll just tuck it up and pick up what he can.
He had 2 100-yard games this year, but that was very early in the season. Thomas hit in the backfield, and Bubba McDowell comes up to make the stop. The first hit was by William Fuller, who got him around the ankles and slowed him up.
Tom Bresnahan, there it is, the opening drives of the second half. The Bills are #1 in the league. 15 possessions, 8 scores, and all touchdowns, which I really believe is a key.
And that shows some excellent halftime adjustment by the coaching staff. Reich under pressure. Lee Williams gets his 2nd sack of the night. The former San Diego Pro Bowler, who came over here in a big trade, gets another sack, the 5th of the night for the Houston defense.
Lee Williams moves inside to the tackle position right there. He's just going to fire. That's all it is. It's straight upfield. Take the gap and go. One quick hand movement on Mitch Farrat. He's around him and right in Frank Reich's face.
3rd and 19 for Buffalo. The Oiler defense ranked 4th in the NFL. They've never finished higher than 5th. Reich to Beebe. He lost the ball. Picked up by Dumas, and he lost it. Buffalo got it back, and now they're saying it's an incomplete pass, and there's a player down. And it looks like it was Don Beebe who seemed to be stunned by the initial hit.
This one's
How
scary.
long is this injury list going to be?
This one's scary, though. He went in and he took a shot, I believe, right in the head.
You're right.
Right straight on. And we've certainly had our share of paralyzation. Watch this. Left side of your screen. See his head go down? And he's down. I mean, hopefully it's not on the crown of the head, but on the side and the shoulder, and in what you would anticipate to be a stinger. That's where it goes numb, but just very temporarily.
Looks very much like the way Warren Moon was hit a couple of times during the year.
Watch this. He catches one on the right shoulder, the other in the head, and then he goes back on down.
And players from both teams gathered around the prone Don Beebe, who missed 4 games earlier this year because of an injury.
You know that, Mike, there's just nothing you can do.
No.
Not unless you turn this into touch football, and that won't work.
It's still a game played by fast, large men who make tremendous contact with each other.
Marcus Robertson.
But boy, the emotions
Ballard
are tremendous when something like this happens. And all you want to see is the guy get up and walk out under his own steam. And nobody is hoping more than the players that were involved in the hit. And the injury list for the Bills, it has just become incredible. Tonight they had Thurman Thomas go to the locker room with a rib injury. Jim Kelly carried off the field on a cart. Now Beebe, they were already missing Cornelius Bennett. There's Kelly in street clothes. Bruce Smith has been playing with 3 cracked ribs. Steve Tasker, the all-star special teamer, is out with a bad knee. It's just been ridiculous for the Bills. And psychologically, not just losing the physical gifts of those players, but psychologically, it's very difficult to carry on under those circumstances.
You're really out of people.
Exactly.
You're just out of physical bodies. And boy, Don Beebe getting up is just a great sign. That in itself is uplifting for everybody. You saw some of the guys with their heads bowed in prayer. I mean, human life and the injuries that we've seen in this game today have taken a primary place to the great game of football. The game is secondary to the health and well-being of the players, and it's just unbelievable.
The play was ruled an incomplete pass, and I'm sure Don Beebe doesn't remember any of it. And it will bring up a 4th and 19, and Chris Moore has come on to punt. Webster Slaughter waiting back near the 10-yard line. Pretty kick by Moore. Slaughter got very, very close to it. And it's down at the 1-yard line. Webster Slaughter made a very risky play, nearly touched it in the field.
Families are big, big business, so everybody says theirs is a family car. All right, tell me it has 90 cubic feet of passenger space like a Subaru Legacy then. Enough room for 5 so you're close but not touching me close. Tell me it has a quiet, horizontally opposed engine like the Legacy. There's enough noise already with a family. Tell me it offers all-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. A family car is for my family, not some other family I don't care so much about. Tell me I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
The call comes down from Canada. Cold, crisp, clean. Friends come together to answer the call, to share the feeling. Molson Golden, Molson Light. Molson, answer the call.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Subaru. It's what to drive. And by Molson. The call comes down from Canada. Crisp, clean, refreshing. Molson, answer the call.
20-3, Houston over Buffalo, but Webster Slaughter nearly got the bonehead award on that last play.
Yeah, there's our goalpost cam. We're right in the huddle. We take you places you can't get normally.
And Cody Carlson is back in as the Oilers quarterback. Now watch what Slaughter does.
Watch how close it comes to his backside. If that ball had bounced up and hit him, that would have been that could have been a great break for the Bills, and they certainly could use a break, a positive one in this game.
And they did get a break when the ball did not hit the goal line, a half an inch short of it.
I don't know whether they did or not. I mean, you're without Jackson, one of your starting defensive backs, and you've got safeties playing slot receivers. Now they have to defend 99 yards of the field. Commander Cody Carlson's back in at quarterback, but it sure does put a lot of pressure on the DBs.
Bills defense is going to have to create a turnover here for the club to get back in it. White, gaping hole up the middle. Henry Jones makes the tackle, but not until he's at the 10-yard line.
The Houston Oilers, you can't say it's Cody Carlson's, or can you say it's Warren Moon's, but it's for the team. This is where the areas, they're going to force the ball down the field. They want to do that, but there's the area. Those are screens and little hook patterns. They're continuing to work the middle of the football field. Good distribution throughout the evening. Stretch it a little bit, come down underneath.
2nd and about 2 as Warren Moon watches from the sideline. He will probably get some more action in the 4th quarter. White again. 1st down and more. Jones again has to make the tackle near the 20-yard line. Bruce Matthews threw him a fine block.
One of the keys for Cody Carlson is where the safety's located. They're called high safeties. There they are. Here are your high safeties. They're out of the ballgame. You have to be able to run the football up inside if the safeties are not in run support position. Their first movement is backward. I mean, they don't get to Lorenzo White till he gets 9 yards down the field. That was one thing that Kevin Gilbride said. If they're going to play the high safeties, we have to be able to run the football.
And they've done it. Not for great numbers, but effectively enough. Lorenzo White saved a sack with a great block, and now Carlson running. And Marcus Patton got a piece of him as he went down at the 25. Lorenzo White has saved at least 2 sacks tonight with big blocks.
I really feel like that's his strong suit. I mean, he's a guy who just really can chip away and help out tremendously. And Bruce Smith on the left part of your screen, still working hard. And you see, he beats Maggs inside, but Lorenzo White is there. And that's the problem. There he is. White picking it up, allowing Cody Carlson just to slide by and pick up a few yards running the ball.
And talk about injuries. Maggs is playing with a bruised right knee, a thigh injury, and a bad elbow. White up to the 28-yard line. Of course, by this time in the year, I think every offensive lineman on every ball club is beaten to a pulp.
I don't think it's just everybody this time of year is beat up. That's why the bye is really so important. It gives you 2 weeks to get people who are nicked healthy and those that are playing but a little bit injured back to full speed.
Of course, the Oilers do not have that luxury. If they win tonight, they go to Buffalo next week. If they should lose, they would go to San Diego, but that is also next week. Carlson tried to hit Slaughter over the middle. Talley was right there, as was Marcus Patton. That was his checkoff after he looked to his left and couldn't find anyone.
I showed you before with the safeties back. You see there's only 1 safety back and 2 at the line of scrimmage. That means he has to throw the football. It's a simple key for Cody Carlson. If they're up, I'll throw it. If they're back, I'll run it.
Montgomery to punt on 4th and 2. Clifford Hicks waits at the 30. Montgomery killed it. Hicks all the way back to the 12. And tripped up as he got back to the 25. Eugene Seal, number 53, downfield to make the tackle after a punt of 58 from Montgomery. Still 20-3.
Dodge announces the perfect truck for work or play. Dodge Dakota. Whatever the job, Dakota has an available 180 horsepower Magnum V6. And for after hours, we really dress Dakota up with over $2,500 in options at no extra charge, like air, power steering, stereo cassette, and more. Add $500 cash back and your total savings are over $3,000. See your nearest Dodge dealer for the perfect work or play pickup. Dodge Dakota.
KS Auto Stores is where you can find practically anything for your car or truck. Whether it's stock parts, performance, custom, or racing, we've got it all at factory-to-you discount prices. At KS Auto Stores, our salespeople are knowledgeable, courteous, and ready to help. We go the extra distance for our customers. KS Auto Stores also operates a modern, state-of-the-art machine shop facility manned by skilled craftsmen working hard to keep quality our #1 priority so that you, our customer, gets nothing but the best. KS Auto Stores, we put the fun in driving.
Itchin' for a new kitchen? Well, talk to the experts from Tim Fleury & Associates, one of the area's leading distributors of craft-made cabinetry. Call 674-3422 to schedule a free in-home consultation, and our planning consultant will stop by to expertly measure your room. Choose craft-made and expect nothing less than superb construction, unparalleled quality, and beauty you'll treasure for years to come. See our craft-made showroom located within quality lumber for the best prices in town from Tim Fleury & Associates.
Buffalo, 9:22 to go in the third quarter. Wonder what Marv Levy's favorite video game is? It's the Terminator. Just put in a quarter and watch him eat up the yards. In 1989, he led the NFL with 1,913 yards. Came right back in 1990, led it again, 1,829. Then in 1991, he tied the record of the great Jim Brown, leading the league 3 years in a row, 2,038. And he will lead the league in 1992. Right now, 2,081 total yards from scrimmage. He needs to get some more here to get his club back in the game. And Reich throws it behind Thurman Thomas.
Frank Reich, in 9 pass plays, has had 4 sacks, 1 interception, 3 incompletes, and 1 6-yard completion.
Not good.
Talk about rust. Thurman Thomas, I had a chance to visit with him yesterday. He thinks he's having his best year, and the numbers bear it out.
Delay to Thomas. Slips a tackle. Childress finally puts him down at the 28-yard line.
Sean Jones cannot believe that he did not tackle Thurman Thomas. Watch this. This is unbelievable. He will go sideways through the hole. He'll give you square shoulders and then turn sideways right here. Up. Now you see me, now you don't.
This is a great year for running backs in the NFL. There are just some brilliant performers. 3rd and 7. Reich throws complete, and it's Andre Reed for the first down across the 35. Al Smith, the middle linebacker, made the tackle.
These are the patterns that you see. He's outside. Now he comes underneath James Lofton. Knows exactly where he has to get to. Works soft in the zone. The Oilers can't afford to play this offense too soft.
Thomas struggles for yardage out to the 43. This team certainly isn't done yet with a hurry-up offense and the firepower they have. They're only down by 17.
Coach Bresnahan studying the situation. He's also the offensive line coach.
Thomas again. Bursts up the middle into Houston territory. Another first down to the 49. Smith again on the tackle with Bubba McDowell.
15 carries, 86 yards for Thurman Thomas. Right straight ahead. No slashing, nothing cutesy. Shoulders square to the hole. Sees it, accelerates through it, and then picks up 2 or 3 yards after contact. Great finisher.
Nice block by Glenn Parker on Childress. Reich to Andre Reed, and obviously Frank Reich's comfort zone in the passing game is going to Andre Reed.
Well, what's happening is you're getting great separation. The defensive line is putting terrific pressure on, and the linebackers are dropping back 5 or 10 yards deeper than they normally would because they have a lead. You've got that cushion between the line and the linebackers. He keeps dumping the ball off to Reed in.
Kenneth Davis gives Thomas a breather and gets the carry. And again, a hole straight up the middle where you would normally expect the middle linebacker to be. It's been vulnerable tonight. And William Fuller is the latest injured player in this game.
There's the linebackers. There's 54 and there's 50. Okay? Smith, Robinson. Look at the size of the hole that they've created and are allowing Thurman Thomas to run through. And you got to depend on your safeties to get up and make plays. You've got to depend on Robertson and then Marcus Robertson to get inside, and of course Steve Jackson coming in from the other side.
Fuller, a Pro Bowl starter a year ago, led the AFC with 15 sacks, only has 7 this year. Was one of the Oilers, and one of the reasons that they have not played well all year long. He held out, missed the first game, one of 3 defensive starters to do it. Dishman was another. He made the Pro Bowl last year, did not this year. And when you miss all of training camp and hold off that long and personalities get involved, it really can tend to ruin your season, and they haven't had much offensive integrity this year.
On this particular play, Keith McKellar is going to take him out. Now, 84 just comes down, and he rolls under his leg, and he just catches it. Again, like I say, once you get your feet locked into turf, it doesn't move very much.
And McKellar is another guy who has injury problems. He did not start tonight. They had to start Pete Metzelaars at tight end. Fuller able to sit up at this point. As the playoffs heat up, so does ESPN's NFL Game Day in prime time. Shows the next 2 weekends, both Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, Game Day will start at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and then prime time at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And on Sundays, noon Eastern for Game Day, 7:30 p.m. for prime time. And I know you'll be heavily involved in those.
Yeah, I'll be there, back with Chris and Tommy and Mort. Of course, you got to take everything Mort says with a grain of salt. My good buddy Chris Mortensen. No, he does. They do a great job. I enjoy watching that show a ton to learn some information.
Yeah.
Update on Don Beebe. Took a blow to the head. Okay.
No kidding.
Yeah, a little bit woozy. Not expected to return, but we'll see.
Used to be able to laugh off things like that and say, guy just got his bell rung, but no more.
He certainly did get it wrong.
Buffalo 2nd and 4 to Houston 32, down 20-3. And Reich trying to move them into scoring position to get back in the game. Play clock is at 2. And Frank Reich won't be able to get the play off in time. He's got to burn a timeout. And those may come in handy later in this game. We'll be back in a moment.
McDonald's, huh? Yeah. Smells good. Thanks. If this ride were any longer, you'd have to fight for those fries.
We're stuck.
The call comes down from Canada. Cold, crisp, clean. Friends come together to answer the call, to share the feeling. Molson Golden, Molson Light. Molson, answer the call.
A test drive, 6 miles on smooth roads. If I was only driving 6 miles on smooth roads, I'd buy a bike. I'd get in shape. Let me test drive in rush hour traffic so I can see if it'll last like a Subaru. Let me test drive it to snowy Alaska so I can see if it has all-wheel drive like a Legacy. Don't take me around the block. Let's get it to 50 and slam the brakes so I can see if it offers anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. Test drives aren't real. What's real is the money I'm spending. Show me, tell me, I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
ESPN's college football season goes out with flying colors in a bowl week extravaganza. Hawaii clashes with Illinois in the Thrifty Car Rental Holiday Bowl. Wednesday night, live on ESPN.
Jim Kelly, the leader of the Bills, walking wounded. And the penalty for the delay of game, it makes you wonder why after a 4-minute injury stoppage, they had to use a timeout to get the correct play in. End around to Reed, reverse to Edwards. Reich in front. And Frank Reich threw one of those phantom blocks, and Edwards is at the 24.
Yeah, but Steve Jackson comes up and he just throws his body at the feet of Edwards and really does a great job of taking him off. Watch this. Starts to the left. Okay, there's the handoff to Reed. There's the handoff to Edwards. Good job of exchanging the ball. Now watch number 24 come up. Frank Reich does a good job, tries to throw a block. I mean, he has got a convoy going in.
Back to the ground attack, and Thurman Thomas stacked up at the 22-yard line. Childress in on yet another stop. Ball's at the 22-yard line. 5 minutes and 9 seconds to go, third quarter. This is a critical drive for the Bills, even with all that time left, because they're down by 17. 2nd and 8. Right to Andre Reed. Lost the ball. Oilers have it. Glenn Montgomery with a recovery after Bubba McDowell knocked it loose. Two huge defensive plays by McDowell tonight.
Reed again, the inside receiver, just a little delay behind McKellar. Catches the ball. There it is. The ball's out before he hits the ground. Jim Eddy said something about Bubba McDowell that I found extremely interesting. He said, in the games Bubba plays well, we usually win. And that's certainly being the case here this evening.
So the Bills come away with nothing, still trail by 17. Carlson goes back to work for the Oilers. Lorenzo White got away somehow from Bruce Smith and picked up a couple. Well, that was a disappearing act as Bruce Smith came away with 2 armfuls of air.
Talked about Thurman Thomas's ability to give you a square shoulder and turn. That was a case where Lorenzo White, who's a tad bit bigger, moves inside, slides out, picks up a few yards. Bruce saying, I know he was here. And really, you can't say enough about Bruce Smith. He truly is a part of the walking wounded and still playing.
2nd and 9 for the Oilers. Smith almost got to Carlson. They'll complete it to Webster Slaughter out to the 25-yard line. Of course, we've talked all night long about Thurman and Lorenzo. Just what exceptional years they have had. These are their updated stats. Rushing 1463 and 1209, both over 600 yards receiving. They're both going to the Pro Bowl, and goodness knows they both deserve it. And now we have another timeout. Doug Dawson is down for the Houston Oilers. Well, I'm really tired of seeing players hurt tonight. There have been just way too many. We've got a timeout, 3:44 to go, 3rd quarter. Back in a moment.
Your Chrysler Plymouth dealers proudly announce the Chrysler Award Celebration Sale going on now at the minivan store. For a limited time, you can choose our standard-length minivan or the longer model at no extra charge. Choose Voyager, voted one of Motor Trend magazine's 10 best domestic buys, and save up to $1,500. Or if you want extra room for the same price, choose Grand Voyager and save up to $2,150. The Chrysler Awards Celebration Sale going on now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
How would you turn this space into a portable paradise? Just add water. Soft Tub, fun and luxury, anytime, anywhere, with anyone.
Soft tubs are now available at Quality Lumber, 1700 Union Road.
Do you know something about treadmills?
You mean like for gerbils?
Do any of your treadmills have interval training?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Can you set it up for me in my home?
Not handy with tools, huh?
Doesn't anyone here know anything about treadmills?
Come see the latest in treadmills and fitness equipment at G&G Fitness.
Able to come off the field under his own power, came into the game with a bad right knee. Here are the updated rushing statistics in the National Football League. Congratulations to Emmitt Smith. He wins the NFL rushing title. A great year for Barry Foster, nearly 1,700 yards, but Emmitt pulls it out in the final game. Thurman Thomas, barring a 200-yard 4th quarter, will finish 3rd. Carlson with all day to throw, intended for Gibbons. Henry Jones with good coverage, and it's incomplete.
Well, and the Oilers are just not going to let Bruce Smith be a force. They roll Cody Carlson to the side that he is. Mag sets him up. If he tries to go outside, Lorenzo White picks him up. Carlson's rolling to the left, and watch from the right part of your screen who shows up. Lorenzo White. Just his presence alone creates the problem for Bruce Smith.
Montgomery to kick it away. Clifford Hicks waits at the 35. Let's see if the Bills come after Montgomery. They do, but they don't get there. And Montgomery hits another cannon shot. Hicks still loose. Buffalo has it back. Dumas was downfield, nearly got the football. And coming out with it, Kurt Scholes, a punt of 58.
Hoffa.
We are gonna get what we came down here for!
Dynamic and enthralling. Rolling Stone says Nicholson is volcanic.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do, get the Union back!
The performance of a lifetime.
You want me to give up Jimmy Hoffa?
DeVito delivers brilliantly, explosive and exciting. An American epic. Jack Nicholson, Danny DeVito, Hoffa. Rated R. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Introducing Levi's loose-fitting jeans. A loose interpretation of the original.
And now for the Levi's Loose Jeans Player of the Day.
When you catch 108 passes in a single season to break the NFL mark for catches in 1 year, no question that Sterling Sharpe of the Green Bay Packers is our Player of the Day. Congratulations on 108 catches, breaking Art Monk's record, something that Joe knows a bit about.
That's right, Chris. It certainly does. I think you threw all those to Art that year, didn't you?
No, I threw a lot of them, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I did, as a matter of fact. I think I did throw them all. I mean, Sterling Sharpe and Art Monk are so similar physically as well.
Here's the playoff picture for these two teams. If Buffalo comes back to win tonight, they are the AFC East champions for the 5th straight time. They would clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs and get a week's rest, which they sorely need because of the injuries. And that would mean that next week, Houston would go to San Diego in a wild card game. But if Buffalo loses, which appears more and more likely, they would have to play a wild card game, Houston at Buffalo, and the Oilers would have all the momentum next week. Thurman Thomas across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. Marv Levy has got to be wondering what he can do to regroup, not only tonight, but next week with all the people he has hurt that will have to wait for 72 hours for Jim Kelly, and Buffalo huddled up on that play with 2:33 to go in the 3rd period. Wright tries to dump it down, and it looked like Childress got a hand on it. What hasn't he done tonight? What doesn't he do every game?
He's really a complete player. Watch the push he gets up the field. He really pushes Parker all the way back. Now, Parker is not exactly what one might call a small guy. Parker goes at 305, and he just shoves him back 5 yards in the backfield.
2 sacks, a bunch of tackles, a deflected pass. Here comes Sean Jones, nearly got the sack. Reich unloads to Lofton, first down at the 34. Gray made the tackle.
I'll tell you one thing about the Buffalo Bill offense. You're never really going to be hard-pressed to find out where their quarterbacks are, and I think that's a problem. They sit their quarterback dead behind the center almost every time. They don't move him left or right. So all that happens is the defensive linemen just draw a bead on him, and they go after him. You've got to move around. Give the guy a chance.
Reich with a pump fake and then throws behind Lofton, nearly picked off by Dishman. And Dishman comes up holding his left hand. I think it really surprised him when the ball got there. And he may have fallen on that wrist.
Lofton takes the in break. Dishman moves on him. The ball is well behind him. And Chris Dishman, in an effort to try and get the ball, winds up getting his arm out there. And that's it.
Draw, Thomas. Tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Glenn Montgomery with his second big play of the ball game on defense. Montgomery, 272 pounds. He played his college ball at Houston. Really, with Doug Smith out and Jeff Alm playing in his place, Montgomery hasn't seen a lot of action. 3rd and 9 for Buffalo. Time becoming a factor. 1:26 to go, third quarter. Right, almost intercepted again. Dishman got his hands on it. Intended for Lofton. Boy, this has been a stand-up kind of night for the Houston Oilers.
Their defense has played so well. Their offense hasn't had to go very far. Lofton again pushes out a little bit. Dishman holds his ground. And this ball's just thrown behind him again. Frank Reich, of course, not really having a chance to get a lot of reps in his defense. Has no place. He just doesn't have a chance to throw the ball a lot to Lofton. Of course, Dishman feels like he should have had that one.
And he's going to hurt the other hand. Big rush on the punter. Moore got it out of there. Slaughter driven back to the 15. Webster, Slaughter to the 30 and nearly broke it. A return of 15 after a punt of 49. And Montgomery got a block for him on special teams. Coming up from Honolulu in February, the Pro Bowl. The AFC against the NFC All-Stars, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, and there are, or 5 o'clock Pacific. There are 18 players on this field tonight who will be in the Pro Bowl game, the most from any clubs. And one of them, Warren Moon. Testament to him. He missed 6 weeks, still voted by the players in the league to go to the Pro Bowl. Carlson at quarterback. Lorenzo White on the ground. Got it out to the 34-yard line, and Shane Conlon out of Penn State got the first hit. And take a look at the Oilers who will go. Warren Moon, 3 of the receivers. Haywood Jeffries, Curtis Duncan for the first time ever. Givens, Lorenzo White. Bruce Matthews will start at center. Mike Munchak will start at guard. Ray Childress at defensive tackle, and Al Smith for the second straight year at linebacker. For Buffalo, Kelly, Reed, Thurman Thomas, Tasker on special teams for the 4th year. 2 offensive linemen, Smith, Bennett, and Henry Jones in only his second season, will start at safety. 2nd and 5. White. Gaping hole, and Lorenzo White takes it out to the 47-yard line. And of those 9 Buffalo players going to the Pro Bowl, 4 of them, Smith, Bennett, Kelly, and Tasker, are unable to play right now. That is the end of the 3rd quarter from the Dome in Houston. The Oilers up big on the Bills.
Families are big, big business, so everybody says theirs is a family car. All right, tell me it has 90 cubic feet of passenger space like a Subaru Legacy then. Enough room for 5 so you're close but not touching me close. Tell me it has a quiet, horizontally opposed engine like the Legacy. There's enough noise already with a family. Tell me it offers all-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes like a Legacy. A family car is for my family, not some other family I don't care so much about. Tell me I have the money. I want to know what to drive.
The call comes down from Canada. Cold, crisp, clean. Friends come together to answer the call, to share the feeling. Molson Golden, Molson Light. Molson, answer the call.
This is the kind of Houston Oiler football their fans and a lot of us thought we'd see all year long. Now, if you're Jack Pardee going to the playoffs in Buffalo next week, you start Warren Moon or do you go with Cody Carlson?
How could you ask?
It's my job. I ask questions.
I believe you go with Warren Moon. I really do. You got him 22 plays tonight. You gave him a chance to really get out, get a feel for it. He looked a little rusty. I think it wasn't as much rust as it was overzealousness early. I think he was really excited to be back out on the field. Had to get back into his rhythm and pace. I thought he did, and I would be very surprised if Warren Moon does not start next week.
Of course, that would mean Cody Carlson would come in relief, where he has been very successful for Warren Moon. The attendance tonight, 61,742, fifth largest crowd in Oiler history, and they have had a lot to enjoy. People earlier in the week speculated it might be better for the club if they lose. Well, they came out with a fire in their eyes, and they're up 20-3 with a period to go. First and 10 from their own 47. Carlson with a lot of time, and it's picked off by Kelso. Kelso goes down at the 44-yard line, the 7th interception this year for Mark Kelso. And the first turnover by the Oilers.
This is really a case of Cody Carlson working to the left side. You see him move left now. There's an old adage, you don't want to throw back across the ball. Well, there it is, back across the ball, deep down the field. Gives the receivers an opportunity not to make a play. That time, Givens didn't close back on the ball, but Kelso did.
Kelso, 7 picks. He's second on the team to Jones. Could this be the break the Bills needed to get on track? Reich floating it for Reed and knocked away. Boy, the Oilers had everybody covered. Jackson knocked it down. The defense tonight for the Houston Oilers, as you get a look at Kelso, has been very impressive.
And like I said, I think it's very tough for an offensive line to have to block for a quarterback who's constantly positioned stationary. Steve Jackson does an excellent job of baiting Frank Reich. It was him, the receiver, and Reich out in the open field. He faked like he was coming up, went back, and knocked the ball away.
Second and 10, Buffalo. Montgomery chasing Reich out of the pocket, and he throws it incomplete, intended for Thomas out of the backfield. McDowell was over there on coverage. There is so much respect for Thurman Thomas coming out of the backfield that the Oilers said the worst way that they would cover him was with a safety. If they could put a corner on him, they would. That's how good a receiver he is.
Well, basically, the job of covering him went to Al Smith and Bubba McDowell. And Bubba has constantly said, listen, don't let him get outside, Al. Turn him into me. I'll be there waiting for him. He certainly has been tonight.
They've done a great job on Thurman coming out of the backfield. He has gotten his yardage tonight running the football. 3rd and 10. Reich rifles this one. Al Edwards makes the catch at the 36. And you get the feeling that if Buffalo doesn't get points out of this series, they're not going to cut into that gap in time.
This is an excellent throw by Frank Reich. Dumas is crossing across in front of him. Edwards does a nice job of going down on it.
4-man rush, right to Thurman Thomas. Robinson, the rookie outside linebacker, takes him out of bounds, and Thurman Thomas is hurt. Do you believe this? Taken off the field in the first half with sore ribs and goes down again. He and Bruce Smith have played hurt in this ball game. Smith came in with 3 cracked ribs, has played as hard as he could at defensive end the entire game. Thurman Thomas gets bruised ribs and runs as hard as he can.
Watch his ankle. See his right ankle? See how it gets dragged over and turned? And then the left one also. I mean, really got both of them turned over.
This is really an incredible string of injuries for this football team. As we told you a moment ago, Jim Kelly will not be reevaluated for 72 hours with a sprained ligament in his knee. They will then make a determination whether he is medically able to play next week, and more it looks like there will be a next week game for the Bills at Rich Stadium. And you can only hope that Kelly, Thomas, Smith, and Bennett, and all these great players for this ball club are physically able to go. And nobody hopes it more than Marv Levy. Marv's done a remarkable job with that Buffalo franchise. He and Bill Polian. Kenneth Davis comes in at running back on 2nd and 4. Davis will get the call, and he's smacked at the line of scrimmage. Montgomery has come up big since he came into the line to play for Jeff Alm.
I think that in this particular game, more than any game I have seen, there have been more negative plays by defensive linemen. That's tackles behind the line of scrimmage of running backs or sacks of quarterbacks than any game I've seen. And that's just a terrific job of execution of a system that Jim Eddy is working out on the field tonight.
Jim Eddy has put together quite a defensive unit here. 3rd and 7. Reich in trouble, tried to get it to Davis. That should be an incomplete pass, and now that's the way they'll rule it. Even though it was thrown underhand, it was thrown forward.
And it also brings up a situation for the Buffalo Bills. It's 4th down and 7. You have to go for it. There's no question about this. You can't punt this one away. You have to go for it.
They tried a field goal from here. It would be 52, 53 yards. And Thomas will come back into the ball game. Well, Thurman Thomas showing a lot of grit tonight, and Marv Levy following your advice. The only course of action he can take, you got to go for it on 4th and 7.
I think you've got to try and get the ball to Thurman or Reed. Either one of those two guys, the inside receivers.
And Frank Reich has to burn another timeout. That's 2 that he has used here in the second half. They only have 1 left back after this.
It's a car. It's also a Volkswagen. So it comes from a belief that driving is passion, that a car isn't 2 tons of heartless steel and high technology, but a friend. The new V6 Passat Touring Sedan. Experience one at your Volkswagen retailer.
Give me the rock, give me the handles, give me the paint, give me the shoes. You have anything in a Gorilla Slam? Sweet. Give me that, not that brick, that brick. Give me him, some of that, and one of those. Showtime. Take his move, his move, his move. Not that move, that move. Money. Gimme my house. If it's in the game, it's in the game. Bulls versus Blazers and Bulls versus Lakers for Super NES and Sega Genesis. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Okay, so these guys may know a little more than we do about Bud. It's the rice.
It's the hops.
It's the rice. But of course, we know a lot about other things.
Hi, can I buy you something to drink? Yeah, like maybe a light beer? Or maybe you'd like a Bud.
Someday, boy, you're gonna learn from your mistakes.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Levi's new loose-fitting jeans and by McDonald's. What you want is what you get, guaranteed, at McDonald's today.
Jack Pardee and Marv Levy looks like they'll tee it up again next week at Rich Stadium in Buffalo, matching wits again. And Houston will have all the momentum going into that one, and Buffalo will have all the injuries. 4th and 7. Buffalo has to go for it, down by 17. Knocked away. Bubba McDowell on Thurman Thomas. And the ball will go over on down.
Well, you can say it was great coverage, but the pressure up front is really what caused this play. Frank Reich had no opportunity to set his feet and make any kind of a throw that he wanted to. He had to hang it up in an area where he thought he could get the play. Thurman starts upfield. Bubba McDowell's got him all over. Now Reich is running for his life, just tries to hang it up to Thurman, can't get it done. Boy, Sean Jones is just like, he's in a track meet. You see William Fuller trying to fall on him backwards.
It's like the Greyhounds chasing the rabbit, and Frank Reich was the rabbit. Lorenzo White. cuts it back inside where Jeff Wright, the nose man, waiting for him to make the tackle. And now Houston's biggest friend is the clock, and that's what they'll work on with 12:34 left to go in the game. And Thurman Thomas on the sideline healing an ankle and ribs. And Chris Dishman, who along with the rest of that Houston defensive unit has had a sparkling evening. They've allowed Buffalo only 3 points. Sean Jones has come off the ball so hard, as has Childress, Lee Williams. Hansen putting on the pressure, and now Carlson running for his life. Wright got a piece of him. Talley pinned him as he got out to the 37-yard line.
The thing about the Houston Oilers offense, Mike, is if they wanted to just sort of run the ball, they really can't, because they are a pure run-and-shoot football team, and based upon how many people you put around the line of scrimmage will dictate whether they run or pass. So if they're going to put 6 or 7 up around the ball, they're going to throw the football. It's something that Kevin Gilbride teaches and Warren Moon executes to the best.
It was so nice to see Kevin Gilbride back at work this week for the Oilers after that cancer surgery just a couple of weeks ago. Carlson, sideline, Jeffries, Odoms, and Henry Jones are right there. That will be short of a first down. Now, if this game stands as is, this will be the playoff schedule. Houston will go to Buffalo next week in the first round. Kansas City will go to San Diego. Miami, with the Buffalo loss, would win the AFC East and earn a first-round bye. And Pittsburgh gets the home field advantage and the first-round bye in the first week. And the Steelers, what a remarkable performance they had this year. Montgomery only averaging 58 yards a punt back to try it again. And he's not going to the Pro Bowl. He's making a statement tonight. This is a line drive, but he crushed it again, and it may die inside the 5, just made the end zone. This punt only 61. Back in a moment.
At Jack Hayes Oldsmobile in Pontiac, bigger doesn't mean better. Better is measured by our satisfied customers. We do business on a personal level. Our low overhead equals big savings for you. Your choice is made easy with our large selection of vehicles, including the beautiful Grand Am, Bonneville, Cutlass Sierra, Achieva, and more. We have a variety of used cars as well. Jack Hayes Olds Pontiac is dedicated to service after the sale, including a free service loaner. Centrally located just 12 miles from either Lockport or Lancaster on Route 5, just east of Route 93 in Akron. At Jack Hayes, we make sure the drive is worth your dollar.
Legend has it that Hamilton Carhart was attacked by a big old grizzly back in '89. Lucky for him, he was wearing his Carhartt overalls. Those sharp old bear claws couldn't penetrate that Carhartt material. Now, Hamilton was always bragging about how tough his Carhartts were. And if you asked me, I expect he provoked that bear just to prove it.
To get the job you want, call Northeast Institute in Buffalo for the hands-on training you need in months, not years. It's a faster way to a better future with higher earning potential. We serve Western New York and teach comprehensive welding, heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration repair, electrical technology, and construction technology. At Northeast Institute, you'll learn in months what other schools take up to 2 years or longer to teach. We also offer financial aid for qualified students and job placement assistance. For job training in months, not years, call 838-6984 now.
Home in Houston, where the Oilers making a statement tonight. They lead the Buffalo Bills 20-3. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday. And Ray Childress made his own statement tonight. A slew of tackles, a couple of sacks, just what you'd expect from the Pro Bowl defensive tackle. He's just a joy to watch. And he got a lot of help tonight from an outstanding, talented defensive unit that Jim Eddy has molded together. Frank Wright calling signals. Kenneth Davis, the running back. Davis on the draw. Lee Williams makes him go the other way. Boy, and Bubba McDowell just closed in a heartbeat.
The penetration of the defensive line of the Houston Oilers creates problems both in the passing game because they put pressure on the quarterback and now in the running game. Watch Sean Jones get off the ball. Number 96, the right defensive end.
Back to live action right. Sacked again. Fuller is there. Williams is there, and Montgomery is there.
They just can't. All it is, the Bills, I don't understand why they don't have some type of a rollout or just move Frank Reich from someplace where this front four is just lining up. They can close their eyes and actually rush the passer from where they are.
Here's a question for a quarterback. You try to get Gail Gilbert in the game, maybe.
Now,
Frank Reich may be the guy who has to play all next week. You could get him killed here.
You got to get him as much experience as you can in playing time.
3rd and 20. Jones jumped offside that time. Pass is tipped, nearly picked off by Gray. Well, now we'll check the flag. It'll look like Sean Jones, who had gotten off the ball so fast, as Joe had mentioned, may have gotten off a little too quickly this time.
Offside, number 96, defense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
He and Bruce Smith have both done that tonight.
It was a nice job by Frank Reich, too. You've got 3rd down and 20. Now you're 3rd down and 15. It's not the easiest thing to pick up, but it's certainly a bit easier than 3rd and 20.
And Buffalo needs 3 scores with 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
I can hear the Buffalo Bill fans warming up their voices for next week to make it difficult for the Oilers to communicate.
Jim Kelly said something interesting about the fans. He said, they spoiled us and we spoiled them. Talking about the booing that's gone on at Rich Stadium this year. Movement up front, and this one looks like it will go against Jim Richer, the left guard, who moved early. Richer playing at a team record.
Number 51, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
A team record 203 games, and he's been a good player for a long time.
He hears something. Obviously, he was the only one. He's hearing voices, but he was the only one that heard it.
Well, the Oiler defense has been stifling tonight. 3rd and 20 again. Oilers show blitz and come with it. And right at the goal line. They want a safety. They won't get it. Steve Jackson came from the corner. 7 sacks. That's a high for the year.
Jim Eddy said he was going to turn his troops loose tonight and gamble. You see it up top left. Number 24 just comes around the corner. Keith McKellar doesn't really stand a chance to try and get a hand on it.
And the smile on the face of Jim Eddy. 7 sacks tonight for a unit that has done a great job in pass rushing all year long. And now Moore has no space to kick, standing at the back of the end zone. Slaughter, midfield. Pointed for someone to give him a block. They couldn't do it, and Slaughter goes down at the 38-yard line. Return of 12 after a punt of 49. We've got a timeout. 8:41 to go in the ball game. Still Houston by 17.
To celebrate Corbel Champagne.
There's nothing better than winning a Super Bowl or a NASCAR race. But to finish strong, you have to start fresh. Interstate batteries are fresh. For factory fresh power, call 1-800-CRANK-IT. Start fresh with Interstate.
If you're looking for a luxury coupe that makes driving fun again, the Eldorado Touring Coupe hits the mark. Because only its advanced North Star system brings together a 295 horsepower V8, road sensing suspension, and traction control standard, making it the car you'll want to drive first and every day thereafter. The Eldorado Touring Coupe with the North Star system, changing the way you think about American automobiles.
What we need now is the beach.
And the Bruce. And the Bay.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
ESPN's college football season goes out with flying colors in a bowl week extravaganza. Wake Forest collides with Oregon in the Pool and Weed Eater Independence Bowl, Thursday afternoon on ESPN.
8:41 to go in the ball game. The Oilers in command. They're up 20-3 and have the ball at the Buffalo 38. Carlson throws complete to Givens down to the 16-yard line. Scholes and Williams made the tackle, and the Bills' offensive line, who have been nailed for 7 sacks tonight, they came into the game tied with the second-best mark in the NFL, allowing only 22. They've given up a third that many just tonight.
And they're the guys that have been responsible for them, that defensive line. And it's really been mostly the line that's put pressure on Frank Reich on that.
Gary Brown in at fullback will get the ball on the draw play. It came loose, but he was already down at about the 11-yard line. Keith Willis, the former Steeler, made the tackle.
Give you an idea how much Gary Brown's played in the game. 11 carries, that's all he has. And of course, there's the offensive line coach, Tom Bresnan, also the coordinator. He has got some film to study because obviously they'll be right back at it next week. Same team, different time. And he's hoping a different result.
Second and 6. Brown again. Inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line.
Interesting point, Mike, for the Houston Oilers. Normally, they don't have a lot of film to study on teams because nobody else runs an offense like they do. But every team in the AFC they have played. So Kevin Gilbride and his every team in the AFC playoffs they have played before. So Kevin Gilbride's going to have a chance to look at what people have tried to do with him. And I think that gives the Oilers an advantage offensively.
3rd and 2. Brown again. Cuts it to the outside. To the 5-yard line. It's a first down. Kurt Scholes made the tackle again. Matt Darby, backup safety for Buffalo with a bruised thigh. He is out of the ball game. And the list just grows and grows. You know, I'm sure that the Oilers don't realize this, but they took Lorenzo White out of the ball game, and he was within 24 yards of catching Earl Campbell's club record for total yards from scrimmage. That'd be a great record to have, break one from Earl Campbell, any record from Earl Campbell. 1st and goal from the 4. Brown fights his way to about the 2. Joe, I would say arguably you could make a big case for saying this is the best the Houston Oilers have looked all year long. They're playing a team that came in here having to win a game, and they've stuffed them.
I think this is the first game they really come in playing loose. Talking to Cody Carlson earlier this week, he said that every game for the last 6 has been a must game. Tonight's game was the first game that really, they knew they were going to be a wild card. They knew they were traveling. So they felt like they could just relax a little bit and come in. They can carry this momentum. They're going to create problems in the AFC playoff race.
2nd and goal. Brown. Not this time. Jones, and he dives forward. Got it anyway. Gary Brown, an 8th-round draft choice out of Penn State. Quite an effort on that run.
He just won't be denied. The Bills do a nice job. Henry Jones goes up, makes a hit. Clifford Hicks tries to get a hold of him. Kelso tries to get a hold of him, but he's just not going to be stopped. Coming right at you. 1, 2, 3, and help, and I'm in.
And you're not going to believe this. Another Buffalo injury as Darryl Talley is being assisted off the field. Another Pro Bowler hurt for the Buffalo Bills. This is just an incredible show tonight. And you just saw him stagger as he got to the sideline. And now Del Greco on for the point after. They could make it 27-3. And with 4:49 to go in the game, the Houston Oilers have put it away. Now we can tell you what the playoff schedule is for next weekend, including the times, so you can set your VCR in case you're doing something else, heaven forbid. First round, the Redskins play the Vikings in Minnesota. That will start at 12:30 Eastern. Then Philadelphia and New Orleans on Sunday, 12:30 Eastern. That ought to be a wicked battle of defense. Dallas gets the first round bye. They'll play the first round winner that has the best record. San Francisco will play the first round winner with the worst record. So that's the way the NFC playoffs stack up. We'll give you the AFC in a minute. And Cody Carlson on the sideline. Both he and Warren Moon have played very well tonight. And Joe, as you pointed out last week, in the AFC there's a half a dozen teams that could win it, and I think the Oilers may be serving notice tonight.
Well, they felt, and we said it before, Mike, they felt like they had a great chance to go to the Super Bowl even the beginning of the year. And Jack Pardee pointed it out, said, we beat ourselves. And when you really look at the games and how they've lost and how close they've been, they certainly have beat themselves. But this is the most complete football game the Oilers have played all year.
Jack Pardee in the College Football Hall of Fame and 4 other Halls of Fame on his resume. Just a marvelous career as a player and a coach. And people forget Marv Levy. The Buffalo franchise was in total disarray when he came in, he and Bill Polian, to take over. And they have built a wonderful ball club.
Of course, big question mark about Jim Kelly. 72 hours from now, he'll know exactly what the status is of that knee.
And Warren Moon, they'll ice down that left shoulder, and the Oilers have to be very encouraged about what happened with him tonight, being able to get in for the first time in 6 weeks. Kenneth Davis returns the kickoff. He stopped at the 16-yard line. Here's the AFC playoff picture, including starting times next week. In the first round, Kansas City at San Diego, a 4 o'clock Eastern start. Then Houston will go to Buffalo, the rematch of tonight's game at 12:30 Eastern. Miami gets a first round bye. They would then play the higher seed in the second week. Pittsburgh, by virtue of Buffalo's loss tonight, gets the first round bye. Home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They will play the lower seed after a week's rest. And that may give them a huge break with Neil O'Donnell. 71 yards passing for Buffalo. Hard to imagine. Reich wants the screen. Gardner. And the Oilers, as they've done all night, have sniffed out every play. About the only thing that has been successful is that quick hitter with Thurman Thomas tonight.
Yeah, and you're not going to go 80 yards all the time just trying to run Thurman Thomas up the middle of the field. One thing that hasn't been in favor for the Oilers either has been a short field. They've had to have long drives. And tonight, the defense has allowed the offense an opportunity to move the ball just short distances for scores.
And even though the defense had played well all year long, they hadn't forced a lot of turnovers. Tonight, they made the turnovers and the sacks. Lofton with the catch, fighting for first down yardage, gets up to the 30. James Lofton has just tied Charlie Joyner, number 3 all-time in the NFL. 750 catches, already the all-time yardage leader. Couldn't happen to a better guy. He is a class individual, and I know that Charlie Joyner is happy for him. Right back to work, and players jump offside.
Harold Ballard, number 75, rocked back just a little bit.
False start, number 75, offense. 5-yard
Ballard
penalty.
will be a starter in the Pro Bowl. 6'6", 325. It's a $10 cab ride to pass rush around it.
The only thing good about the Buffalo Bills is within a week they get a chance to play another game and hopefully put this one behind them.
The bad part is they have to play these same guys again. And you have to wonder how many of their all-stars they will be without. Right throws complete to Reed. And someone else on that injury list, there's Cornelius Bennett, is Don Beebe, who appeared to suffer a concussion. He hasn't been back in the game since then. Thurman Thomas hurt twice. Kelly on crutches. Darryl Talley got hurt on the last series. Tasker out with a knee. I mean, it's been unbelievable. Wright throws over the middle, incomplete, knocked away. Robinson has had a good defensive night, the rookie outside linebacker.
Pick out a guy on the defense that has.
Yeah, that's right.
Every time we turn around, it's somebody else making a play.
Oh, they've been sparkling.
Steve Jackson's really played well at the corner for
Hasn't
him
he?
tonight. He's supported the run very well, also covered excellent man-to-man coverage.
Jackson, second-year player out of Purdue. Reich intended for Lofton. It's intercepted. Picked off by Dishman. And Dishman will be taken out of bounds at the 25. You always hear coaches say, just go out and have fun. Well, they're having fun tonight.
They try and tell you, don't look at the quarterback. They can fool you. Study the receivers. But when you're a corner of Dishman's caliber, number 28, you see him just give ground. And all he's doing is looking at Frank Wright. When the ball goes in the air, he closes on it, and Lofton really doesn't stand much of a chance. Now he picks up a semi-convoy and falls out of bounds.
And the cheer is for Texas A&M rookie quarterback Bucky Richardson. He may not be the greatest pure passer you ever saw, but they said there's no way we're cutting him. This kid is a player. We'll find some place to play him. Gary Brown with a handoff gets to the 24-yard line. I mean, Richardson is a good enough athlete to play on special teams. You don't find that very often.
No,
I'm sitting next to one.
Yeah, you don't find guys that sick. Is that what you're trying to say? Bucky Richardson also is not their disaster quarterback. They're carrying 4 on the roster.
I thought you would be pleased to know that Reggie Roby had a 1-yard punt today.
Well, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one in the league that has one.
You are now probably the only 2 guys in the history of the National Football League that had a 1-yard punt.
It's annoying to share a title like that.
Pretty good company to be in. Warren Moon is not hurt. That ice is just from the previous injury. We have reached the 2-minute warning in Houston, and it's all Oilers, 27-3.
He's history's most celebrated quarterback. Now he's coaching Budweiser in Bud Bowl 5. Yes, some men are born to be football legends.
Give every last drop. We're going to win it. We're Budweiser.
Of course, some men aren't.
We'll win it, because we're Bud Light.
You ever wonder how they get the strings in these things?
Bud Bowl 5. It's back. Get your ticket where you buy Bud, Bud Light, and Bud Dry. Someone will win $1 million in cash.
All right, a great man once said, winning, gentlemen, isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Look, a grasshopper.
I formation, 34 sweep on 2. Got it? Just give the ball to Matt. Tell him to run towards dead. Got it?
It starts every September. with teams like the Turkey Creek Hawks, the Bronx Eagles, and the Newport Richie Giants. On fields where dads aren't only coaches, and oak trees mark the end zones. And a good day isn't determined by if you win or lose, but where you go after the game. So McDonald's would like to salute the players, the coaches, the families, everyone who helped make this season a perfect season.
We go to McDonald's now, Coach?
After the game, Lenny. This is only halftime. Now go sit down.
27-3. Oilers over the Bills. 2 minutes left from the Astrodome. Who wins the receiving title this year? A young man out of Green Bay by the name of Sterling Sharp. And not only did he win the receiving title, became only the 6th player to go over 100 catches and broke Art Monk's single-season record, 108 for the year. 2 Oilers in 3rd and 4th.
And the guy in 2nd place, Andre Rison, was sort of in the doghouse early in the season, didn't get much production out of a couple of games, but he's right up there in number 2 position.
2nd and 10. Brown on the delay again. Got back to the line of scrimmage and is buried there. Richardson has not thrown a pass this year, and I'm sure the crowd would like to see him put one up there. I'm sure he would too.
I would think he's under sort of specific instructions not to, though.
Kevin Gilbride passing those instructions in from the sideline. And Haywood Jeffries already celebrating with his family. Richardson to throw. Richardson to be sacked by Phil Hansen, who has 7 in his last 6 games. After having 1 in the first 10, he has really turned it on. Coming up next, SportsCenter and NFL Primetime. After that, Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann standing by. Do or die Sunday in the NFL. The Broncos, Chiefs, Packers, Vikings highlights. All the numbers from the NFL season. And then Primetime with Chris, Tom, and Robin Roberts. Recapping what happened in the NFL. Clock running, 47 seconds to go, 4th and 18. And Houston will not kick it away. They'll try to run it out. Gary Brown plays off 1 tackle, got down to the 27th, and the Buffalo Bills string of AFC East titles is ended at 4. The Miami Dolphins will win the AFC East. What do you think about next week, the rematch between these teams?
Well, obviously the big factor is going to be the health, Mike. I mean, the Bills have got to get some of the... They sat out 3 people, Jackson, of course, Tasker, and Bennett. You can expect them back, but Bruce Smith played sore. He's going to be sore next week. What is the status of Jim Kelly? These are all questions that are going through Marv Levy's mind right now. The Houston Oilers, they have to feel good about what they've done. Actually, they have played as well outside as they have inside. They're 5-3 outdoors, 5-3 now indoors. So talk about them being a bad road team. That doesn't apply anymore. And they got this guy, a lot of action tonight. 22 snaps from center. Warren Moon will probably be the starter next week in Buffalo.
And that 5-3 road record is the best they've had since 1980. Kenneth Davis on the delay out across the 30. And we only have 22 seconds left to go in the game. And the Bills will not bother with the final play. And the Houston Oilers have notified the rest of the AFC that they may have finally reached the point where a lot of folks thought they would be all year long as a dominant football team, because they certainly dominated tonight. Our final score, Houston 27, Buffalo 3. For Joe Theismann and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Houston, Texas. SportsCenter is next after this.
A kiss? No, I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Oh, no, please, no, baby, no.
Oh, not a good idea. Not now.
No, bad time.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Your kiss is ready. Pucker up.
Right on the kisser.
Come on.
Kiss morning breath goodbye with Scope.
Give me that kiss.
Hello and welcome to the Industrial Science Sports Center. Along with Keith Oberman, I'm Dan Patrick.
And one of the legendary TV dramas of the 1950s was called Marty, the story of an unhappy, lonely man who suffered setback after setback only to finally prevail. As the NFL regular season ended, John Elway co-starred in yet another road company version of Marty.
Funny it wasn't listed in my TV guide that way. In his first meeting with the Chiefs, John Elway threw 2 TDs in the final 2 minutes to escape with the victory. The Broncos needed number 7 to come to the rescue once again on Sunday, but it would cost them dearly. That's because, according to published reports, Denver has an insurance policy that pays Elway's $3 million salary if he misses 5 or more games. Well, he was there and on Marty Schottenheimer's mind. Second quarter tied at 7. Elway under pressure, as he was most of the afternoon. Derek Thomas.
Joplin Restaurant. You'll eat up Bill's Report, too. Just call 648-9597. That's 648-9597. Bill's Report. Once you pick it up, you won't be able to put it down.
Some beer companies pour their money into expensive sports events. That can be a trap for you. Other beer companies pour their money into commercials filled with bathing beauties. That can inflate the price. But at Genesee, we pour our money into the purest water and the finest grains. Jenny Light, the light beer that's real beer.
What time is it? Time to reel off NBA action. A 4-star basketball show with a jamming lineup. For the history buff, a stroll down memory lane. For the inquiring mind, the up-close and personal. I'm a mad dog. And for you basketball aficionados, start counting the plays. All in NBA action.
Giovanni's on Brighton Road in Tonawanda is the home of the Buffalo sports fan. With great food and family fun in a casual atmosphere. Giovanni's hits a home run every trip to the plate. Giovanni's, where you can see the best of televised sports. Get together with friends and have lunch or dinner with the family. Giovanni's, where you and your teammates are always at home. Giovanni's, 861 Brighton near Eggert in Tonawanda.
Welcome back, Bill Pauling, press conference, baby.
Bill, say you don't have Bruce Smith and you don't have Cornelius Bennett and you don't have Kirby Jackson. How equipped then is this defense to take on Houston's run and shoot, albeit maybe a little more modified with Cody Carlson in there? How equipped are they now?
Well, we're equipped. We went out and played yesterday without those 3 fellas for at least a half and held Indianapolis, held New Orleans down pretty well. And the run and shoot presents problems that are different than what we faced with New Orleans. But I think that our backup people are ready to come in and to make a contribution. And you know, championship teams are made via depth. There's no championship team that doesn't have depth because over a long season in the playoffs, you're going to have injuries. You're going to have to deal with them. And I think that this team is among the better ones we've had for depth. So, you know, I feel good about them being able to go out there and make the kind of contribution they have to make.
And one thing, you know, last year virtually, the Bills went 15-4 virtually without Bruce Smith.
Yeah, that's
right. He was never 100% when he played. So I mean, that's not. To me, that's not. It's a loss, but it's not something they can't overcome.
Well, I mean, it's a huge loss, but if you're a good team, you're going to overcome.
Is there a problem or two that you can talk about that this particular defense may have to deal with when it comes to Houston's run and shoot as it's going?
I think that they've become much more run, and that's to their advantage. They run a counter now. They run a wing back around. Lorenzo White is having a great year running the football. They have a great screen to him. which they ran for 41 yards yesterday to really put them in position to win the game. The run and shoot that we're going to see Sunday night is a much more complete offense than it was 3 or 4 years ago when they first put it in. So I would suspect that, it's as big a challenge as we've faced, whether Warren's in there or not.
He's back.
He's back, okay. So,
well, we don't know. I would suspect that if you're looking at
Of course,
moves,
their fate is pretty well taken care of there.
yeah, I mean they're just a wild card. But what I'm saying, if you're getting Moon ready for the playoffs, he has to play in a game like this.
I think the thing is that this game is every bit as important as the last one. It won't be hyped as much. It won't be the AFC's supposed best against the NFC. It won't have the glamour of two teams that have never played before, haven't played much before, all of that kind of stuff. But it's still, this game is every bit as important. And if anything, we probably ought to be a little bit more of an underdog because we have not done well in the Astrodome. It's been a place of pain. It's been the house of pain for us. We lost Derek Burrows there. We've lost a lot of football games there. It's a tough place for us to play. So the challenge is even greater than this past week.
Bill Foley and Briscoe. Go ahead.
Hello, Bill Foley and Tom McGuire. How you doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
Okay, I just have one question and one comment. Are there 1 or 2 weeks between the championship game and the Super Bowl this year?
Okay.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I just want to mention one thing. My dad was a season ticket holder in the 1960s. I have 7 brothers, and I never really got to go see the Bills play too much when they played in the 1960s. But in the 1970s, my brothers and I went out there to see the Bills play, and then we had stopped like in 1977 with our season tickets. But in August of 1986, we bought 18 season tickets the day Jim Kelly signed with the Buffalo Bills. We went around the family saying, Jim Kelly signed with Buffalo, Jim Kelly signed with Buffalo, who wants season tickets? And 18 of us all joined together, and we've had them ever since. And we've loved going to the Bills games. It's been fantastic. And I just want to say that Jim Kelly's the greatest quarterback there is, as far as I'm concerned. And I just want to wish you happy holidays to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Going over some of these, with a game left, going over some of these playoff possibilities. This is just great. This is just, just incredible.
Oh, Dale,
no, I know, but
hey, Slick.
Do you realize now? If I'm right, looking this over, if San Diego wins next week, the Bills, Miami, and Pittsburgh lose, the Chargers get home field advantage in the playoffs.
That is correct, and I think. Now let's consult the crystal ball here. That Miami doesn't have to lose. I think if San Diego wins, they win a tiebreaker with Miami. I could be wrong on that. But I know they win the tiebreaker. If they win and everyone else loses, they have home field advantage.
The other thing going into the game against Houston, if the Bills lose to Houston at the Astrodome, and all the other teams, Kansas City, San Diego, Miami, and Pittsburgh, win as they are favored to win, the Oilers earn the opportunity to come right back here to Buffalo and play the Bills.
That is correct. There will be a wild card game here on the weekend of January 2nd and 3rd. That's correct.
This is exactly what the owners must have had in mind when they created the playoff system. You envision any other changes in this?
I don't think so. I think that this was the brainchild of Commissioner Tagliabue, and I think Art Modell, who's the chairman of the TV committee, and I think it's the best playoff structure in all sports because we have 28 teams and 12 make the playoffs, so it's far less than in other sports, and yet the interest is still alive for things like the home field advantage, for the seeding in the playoffs, right down to the last week of the season, and I really think it's really the best of all possible worlds. I was on the competition committee and still am when they voted on the seeding system, and I think it's great. It gives you all of the excitement that you could possibly want, and I mean, if we have to play Houston back to back, what more exciting scenario could you want there? Playing back to back on a championship level is the toughest thing you have to do in sports.
We got short and kind of an offshoot. You've got a 17-week season now. There was talk of going to 18. Do you see it just staying at 17 forever? Could it go back to 16? I think some TV networks might say we're not getting as many good games because we've got to distribute more over a 17-week season.
I think that a lot of it is dependent upon TV. That was the reason for the 18th week in the first place. I think that the teams like 17. There's no question that the teams like to buy. Yeah, no question. Whether or not that will be the determining factor, I don't know.
Speaking of buy, we'll take a break here. I love when we get
That's a great segue.
Give me the words all the time. Take a break. We'll be right back, man.
Guests on the Bill Polian press conference received gifts from the following: the Panage Restaurant, a sensational dining experience at the Buffalo Marriott; the American Sports Bar and Grill, located in the Ramada;
Sports fans, football is here and you can stay on top of all the action with an exciting new show, Beat the Spread. A weekly preview of all the big games direct from Las Vegas starring Jeff Allen. Also featuring top-rated selections from Gary Austin and winning information from former NFL star Dan Pastorini. Tune into the nation's hottest football show, Beat the Spread. Fridays at 11:30 p.m. on the Empire Sports Network.
Hey Bills fans, I'm Andre Reed of the Buffalo Bills. Here to tell you about Shout, the weekly newspaper for Bills fans. Shout is the only weekly newspaper devoted to my favorite team, the Buffalo Bills. Shout covers all the Bills actions on and off the field. So don't wait a month to catch the latest Bills news, where you can get it every week in Shout. Don't miss a single issue. Call now, 1-800-93-BILLS.
Subscribe now and get a free official Bills yearbook.
G&G Fitness Equipment is locally owned and operated and totally committed to your health fitness. Stop in today and let our thoroughly trained staff show you the proper way to achieve your fitness goals. And do it at your pace, in your home, business, school, or institution, with the best equipment in the business, with full manufacturer warranties and installation available from G&G. Check us out, try us out on your own machine before you buy it. G&G Fitness Equipment, everything you see in health clubs and more. 7660 Transit Road, Williamsville.
What do you do when you watch football? Eat, of course. And if eating and sports mean the same to you, then the locker room is where you want to be. The locker room at Delaware Delavan also has a delicious 2-for-1 fish fry on Fridays. Plus, the locker room's kitchen is open for all the Bills games, too, with roast beef, sandwiches, munchies, and more. Catch Monday Night Football at the locker room, where they have 5 TVs, 20-cent wings, and drink specials. The locker room, Delaware Delavan, where the lock is on good times and good food.
There's thousands of big-name boots to choose from at Jim and Chuck's Boot Shop. You can buy Acme, Dingo, or Dan Post. Now just bring in an old pair of boots and receive half off on a new pair of selected boots, and your old boots go to charity. This is your chance to save big on top-name boots from Acme, Dingo, or Dan Post. Bring in your old boots and receive half off now at Jim and Chuck's Boot Shop.
Jim and Chuck's Boot Shops, 1551 Niagara Falls Boulevard, the Factory Outlet Mall, and the Walden Galleria.
Itchin' for a new kitchen? Well, talk to the experts from Tim Fleury & Associates, one of the area's leading distributors of craft-made cabinetry. Call 674-3422 to schedule a free in-home consultation, and our planning consultant will stop by to expertly measure your room. Choose craft-made and expect nothing less than superb construction, unparalleled quality, and beauty you'll treasure for years to come. See our craft-made showroom located within quality lumber for the best prices in town from Tim Fleury & Associates.
Welcome back to Bill Polian Press Conference. First of all, let's thank our members of the media. Mr. Dave Kerner, WEBR Radio, sports reporter. David, thank you very much. Dale Musson, sports director, WYRK Radio, 106.5 FM. Thank you, gentlemen. Great job. Slick. I love that.
That's out of vocabulary now.
Slick out.
Slick Musson, that's what we're going to call him.
David was saying something, and I think we have about 45 seconds if you can address it. He said that he thought that this game against Houston may be a tougher game than the one you just faced in week 3.
I agree completely. I think the tendency when you play the kind of ball game that we played yesterday is to come off it and say, boy, did we really play great, and everything's okay. And we're going down there. We're going to play in a building we don't play well in. We're going to play against a team that we traditionally don't play well against, who has a wonderful defense and may have Warren Moon back with all the motivation and sort of juice that'll bring to them. It's a tough ball game, and it has lots of playoff implications riding on it. We're going to the playoffs. We've assured ourselves of a home game, but there's still work to do, and the Houston Oilers provide a formidable obstacle.
Well, you know, knock off all the crap and go down there and beat them. We'll take a break at a Bill Poley press conference for one more week, and then we'll be back with you then. So Bill Poley, Billy, Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you before then. Merry Christmas. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
The Bill Polian press conference is brought to you by Jubilee Foods. You're going to love what we've got in store. News Radio 930 WBEN. Empire Financial Services. It's time to let your money work for you. And by the Buffalo Area Jeep and Eagle dealers, who invite you to see the new Grand Cherokee.
Cecil Fielder, Roger Clemens, Ozzie Smith, and Ken Griffey Jr. lead an all-star team to the Far East as Major League Baseball's finest battle the best from Japan. A once-in-a-lifetime team that features National and American League superstars and future Hall of Famers. Plus, the game's hottest names like Sierra, Biggio, Graves, and Can. Don't miss a strikeout or homer. The Major League Baseball Japan Tour.
Good evening and welcome to Off to the Races. Jerry Schreiber along with Darrell Wood, and for the next 30 minutes we're going to be along with highlights from a great week of harness racing action, including a wild Saturday night.
Boy, do we have a Saturday night. Even when I walked in, a gentleman comes up to me with a coat check number, 596. He says, Jerry, I boxed this. I said, you boxed what? I look on the board, $6,000. He had it for half, so it shows you it pays to check your coat at Buffalo Raceway.
Now, besides the big payoff, 3 dead heat finishes.
And we think it was one of the fastest at Buffalo's Raceway in their history, the wind dead heat. So it'll be very interesting. We'll show that later.
And also a driver reached a milestone victory.
Sure, in front of, they're probably